crazy everywhere in the world with our pandemic going on. But the nice thing is that remote games like this won't be too badly affected as long as nobody gets sick. So
It's
stay in your
almost
home.
as crazy as Amaranta itself.
Amaranth is fine. Everything's fine there. I don't know what you're talking about.
We have our own plague. It's called dragons.
Dragon Plague? Wait, isn't that the name of a game? Like a module?
I don't know.
It might be.
I think it is.
I don't think it is for 5th edition, but maybe for one of the older ones.
No, it's something I've been hearing about on Twitter lately, so it's something. Something in 5th edition. It might be somebody's homebrew. Dragon Plague.
There's a sickness in the Temeraire books called the Dragon Plague.
Cool. Alright, well, that's neither here nor there. This is Everybody Loves Raiken episode 40. We need music! I forgot last week because I was just completely off my meds, and by that I mean crazy.
Listen.
Are we ready to go back to the lighthearted stuff? Can we really handle that? Are we still in heavy? Do. Uh-oh, it's too loud. Oh, it's so loud.
Not for me.
No, I know. It's because I had Fredboat turned up for when I was, when we ran the podcast. I have to turn him up so that you can hear the opening theme.
Oh, Fred Boat.
Yeah. Alright, 36 should be fine. 36 should be fine. Alright. We don't have everybody, but I'm told that Jebel will be along soon. But I think that, we wanted to start off by kind of getting people on the same page, having a discussion. I feel like, we don't have a consensus on what people are looking to put in and get out of the game, and I feel like people's expectations are, well, I don't know what they are, and I think that we might all benefit from kind of understanding what each other's expectations out of the game are, so that, you know, I can make proper changes to how I run the story and interact with you as your DM and you as my players, so that we're all having a good time and getting out of the game and out of the story what will make us the happiest. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Makes sense to me.
Okay.
I do think we should probably wait for Jebel to get in before actually having a discussion.
He said it would be a second. Where is he? One Mississippi. Yeah, I'm gonna close my eyes. When I open them, he's gonna be there. Ha! He's
If you
still
wait
not there.
for a noise that's the noise of somebody joining
I
chat, and then open your eyes, then it's definitely gonna work.
but I'm in streamer mode, so I don't get those noises
Oh, that's unfortunate.
because I have a streaming program open and it recognizes that. So that's why I don't always see chat and stuff that's going on, because I only have visual cues. I have no audio cues for it. Jebel.
So,
Yeah, we also just like have a bunch of people that were not here at the beginning for session 0 kind of stuff. So
I don't
Makes
run
sense.
session zeros.
there were still discussions about like,
Yes, I don't know why.
yeah.
There's something about session 0. It triggers something in my brain. I don't like the phrase, and that's not to say that it's a bad phrase. It's just something that doesn't sit right with me.
I don't know what it is.
Neither do I.
It's like when it's the session when you sit down before any sessions and like you talk about what's like you'll sit down and make characters together, all of that kind of stuff, and like figure out what you are wanting out of things, the kind of story you want to tell. That kind, like it's the sitting down and talking about the game before the game is actually going to start.
Yeah.
So,
I guess,
what they're about to do.
Yeah,
well,
pretty much.
this is the refresher.
we're not making characters, but
But
I
yes,
mean I
we
can
start-
make a character.
This is upkeep, maintenance. This is making sure that everybody's still getting as much enjoyment as they can out of the game and understanding anything that might be affecting that negatively or positively. And they're good discussions to have. We just haven't had any in 3 years. And so I think because of that,
So, session 3/4.
let's not put a label on it.
We also have Jebel now.
We do. I saw.
I'm here.
Sam, would you help me out? Would you lead us off? So that we can start with a player and not just the DM talking at people. Maybe so we can get an example of, talking about the kind of things you could speak generally about the kind of things that you look for when you go to play in a session and what you feel is meeting that here, and whether or not you feel changes would be beneficial, something like along those lines, perhaps.
That would not be in the D&D. Shenani's channel would be in the Tuesday D&D channel.
You're looking for the layout,
I was looking for what we had posted.
Yes.
Questions was,
Did I not?
I don't know. I don't think we pinned it. Just gonna make it near impossible to find. I don't know. So, like, I guess broad strokes, I'm perfectly content to go like sessions and sessions and sessions without any kind of combat.
Yep.
Oh, did you find the things?
I did, and I pinned it.
Nice. Cool. Which is, so that particular thing is something that we should definitely be talking about, because I know not everyone would feel that way, and especially, like, I built my character to work well that way, because I built him after there were already 6 other people in the party, so extra combat effectiveness wasn't high in my list of priorities.
I do like combat. That's where I shine.
Mm-hmm.
But I like sneaking around thieving and shit too.
How would you say that you are, Jacob, supplied, I guess is the word I'll use, by the game? How are your needs being met, combat and sneaking around opportunities-wise? And how do you feel about the chances you get to roleplay?
With the current proportion of things.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's been really fun. This is really the first, like, D&D game I've ever done, but I've enjoyed it thoroughly the whole, 4 years we've been doing it.
4 years.
It has been a long time, and I am very happy about it. Honestly, this is not, just to reiterate, this is not a discussion because I think there's anything particularly wrong. This is not a scolding or a reprimand of anything. This is a, let's talk about what we like, let's talk about what we don't like, let's talk about how we can make things better, and let's just, take whatever time we need to...
Sex, baby.
What?
Nothing, go on.
You making jokes over there, Norway?
Yeah.
It's a story thus far situation right now, Chester.
Carry on, my wayward son.
Yeah, so you're just wanting to touch base with us just to see how you want to move the story forward from here.
I mean, even not just the story, but our interactions, how you engage with your characters, how your characters engage with the world, how I can do a better job structuring the way the session runs, as Sam pointed out, more combat, more roleplay, less roleplay. Like, I want feedback on these kinds of things. Or is our balance good.
Or do we want to try? Because there have been times when like we'll do a bunch of sessions of combat and then a bunch of sessions of roleplay. Is that something that we should try and meld more together? Do people like a stronger balance between the two, or is it more just like an over the long run kind of thing? Is the proportion good and fine? Like people are content to have like 4 sessions of straight up role play and then have like 2 sessions of a very heavy combat or mixing the two kind of thing.
I mean, me personally, I like the current mix because to me it makes sense. Because we have come in places that are very dangerous, and we have lots of roleplay in places that are safe. I see it as more of a result of where we're going and what we're doing, as opposed to just a mix of what was been decided.
Yeah, I enjoy the mix we have.
I've been using a very organic mix, so I mean, I want to reinforce the fact that you guys are in control of the story. There will be things that happen in the world. I set up events that occur, and it's your job to, as the characters within the world, respond to those events in whatever way you see fit. So, you know, if you feel like you're being led down a path, I want to try and alleviate the fears that I am pushing you down that path, but that you are finding your character feels they should go down that path. And because of that, sometimes you end up in a town for an extended period of time doing heavy roleplay and then no combat for a while. Or, like, when you went into the dungeon, it was all combat and very, you know, comparatively less roleplay.
Yeah, there'll always be times when things end up shifting one way or the other, just more one way or the other, just because of where the characters have put themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so this question is more just to try and get a sense for, do people like that? Or should we try and find times when, like, yes, we're in the town,
random
doing
encounter
stuff,
table.
and not random encounter table.
Come on, the underwater
but that
white
warehouse
tigers
over there that, like,
A worm pops up underneath one of the houses.
It's fine. It's
but
all
like introducing more instances of something along those, there were the duels
good. Yeah.
that Raiken went and did. So like introducing combat kind of stuff in a more roleplay heavy context, because we can find ways to work that in if that's what people want.
Yeah, that's correct.
Is more the thing. Like, so right now, things have been going fairly organically one way or the other, and like recently it's been a lot of roleplay, except for the whole like single encounter with the dragon. But like we can find ways to meld the two if people have a preference for that kind of thing, or the way that it's pretty much been going this time.
And this is your time to weigh in. Like, just jump in and say you don't have to wait for other people.
I mean, it all sound like, like I've said, I'm happy with the mix, but I also wouldn't, if somebody else wants it a little differently, I don't mind adjusting.
We're going to find an organic balance between everybody. I just want to hear some voices. Alex?
I mean, I'm good with how things are going. We're doing role play in logical areas and battles in logical areas. You kind of understand where there's going to be lots of role play, but then you also understand that where you're going to be having fights at.
It's motorcycle night here, apparently. I tend to agree. I just want to hear everybody's thoughts. Malachi?
Well, for me, I'm still developing myself as a role player, and I'm learning how I want to respond, interject, communicate, and especially in a large group, it makes it easier to learn with that because, like, I gotta very often think of when to be like, hey, wait, or respond to things quicker instead of being like, oh, there goes my opportunity. Fuck. But overall, I just like playing my character and seeing how things pan out, and I enjoy the funny moments. So, in playing the game, it's just hanging out with the group and kicking some monsters' teeth in. And trying not to die from people being obsessed with poison and needing to fight something that is ridiculous.
Okay, in his defense, the first time, you were inside it. In his defense again, the second time, I was inside it.
Don't defend Vendar. He doesn't deserve to be defended.
Hey, what?
Guaco? Oh, sorry. You're not done? No, I'm sorry.
No, I was just say. So, long story short, overall, I like the flow we're doing. It's working well with the group. The only thing that I feel maybe I should voice now is efficiency with what we're talking about. Like, we get derailed often. Like, I'm happy when we laugh and we say funny comments when something was really needed, but like sometimes I feel where we interject in things we shouldn't interject in. Like, we're not there and we're like, hey,
Yeah, and that kind of will come down to, and I agree that does happen sometimes, that will come down to people being more aware of themselves and each other.
Yeah,
and that can be an ask.
Yeah, and also just sometimes let things happen too, It's like, you forgot that, oh no. What's this gonna lead to, kind of thing. Or you could play with it too, But maybe even sometimes you don't know what that person's plan is and they haven't verbalized it yet, so
trust each other.
Yeah.
And let things play through rather than be like, wait, you know this thing. It's like, maybe
because I had the one fight during the Lich, and like I didn't want to spend my skills, and I wanted to move to this one spot, I forgot what fight it was. It was either the Lich or one of these other spots, and you guys are like, well, you could do this, and it's like, I know, but I'm holding off for a minute because I want to try to do something. And you guys are like, oh, well, what about this? And what about this? Is like, okay, just like wait.
With and I will answer that one right now because I know that I try to help people out during combat, especially because with the cadence of combat, which is to say how frequently we have combat. So in a normal by the book D&D game, you're supposed to have like 3 to 6 combat encounters per long rest. And I have taken a moment of silence here to let that kind of sink in. 3 to 6 combat encounters per long rest is standard for a game, according to the DMG. You may have noticed that we don't do that.
We don't, but I feel like that is very dependent on how the game is set up.
It is, but the way
some games are very travel dependent, and therefore you might switch several days or weeks without an encounter happening. And we have had sessions like that where we've been traveling so long that it doesn't make sense that we encounter things all the time during that travel.
Yes. My point is that mechanically, this is how the experience curve and everything is supposed to run. So when you don't have the 3 to 6 encounters per short rest, what ends up happening is that you have fewer, more difficult encounters to balance the curve. And you guys have been dealing with big threats to represent that shift in the balance of how these encounters run. So that's why, that's my excuse, that's my explanation for why I tend to I give people a chance to think about their actions, and if I think that they're not making the best use of their action economy, I might say, you can also do this. You might want to think about also doing this. Because action economy is the difference between life and death in a deadly encounter.
Hmm.
And honestly, one thing I will say to everyone too, for myself, is I always have fun with Yukikaze, but I don't want it to happen, and I don't ever try to let it happen. But if I die, it happens, and that will be a fun thing to play with within the story for me, and I will, because they could be fun to say. It's like I've heard these tales of this great dragonborn Yukikaze.
No, he was all right.
One day, everyone will die, and we will have our party of clerics. One day.
So yeah. But anyways, I was done with my spiel. Yeah, I like the flow of things. I like everything Sway's doing, and all I say is trust your teammates, and I'm ready to keep going.
I wanted to poke at something you had mentioned during your time. You had mentioned that you wanted to have more say in a lot of the roleplay stuff to practice that more. Is that something that you would like us to attempt to
I don't want help with it. I want it to flow, and I need to make sure I speak up.
No, I mean, so like character wise, not ignore that. Just as players, give you more of an opportunity to chime in before someone says something.
No,
to give you that opportunity is what I mean.
No, I should be paying attention to everything that's going on and discerning I should be anticipating stuff and not. I think it won't be as organic if I let that happen. I do know what you're getting at, and I appreciate it, but no, I need to speak up. I was talking with Tristan about just a quick phrase to say, I want to interject, just quickly, and not try to talk over anyone. Just quickly say that and then speak.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And I want to just chime in here myself and say that yes, I think that we all as players in this game, including myself as a player in this game, can do better to be more aware of ourselves and each other, and when things are happening, and sometimes things are happening quickly when our character's in a scene where they could influence things, and you've got a couple other characters going back and forth. Sometimes a character will want to interject, and we should have the confidence to be able to say, hey, can I interrupt here? We should. The people who are talking should also be able to have the ability to stop and say, yes, what do you want to say? Rather than, we don't want to be talking over each other, which has been a problem in the past. I feel like it's been getting better, but it still does happen at times. And so I think that this is all part of a general awareness thing that we can all work on. And I think that at times... the fault I notice with myself, for instance, is when I'm aware that somebody wants to say something and I want to conclude my thought and then go to them, and sometimes I get wrapped up in that thought and forget to go to them. I don't advocate for you enough, and I want to try and improve that for myself as advocating for the players who are not getting the floor time. Because we're all equals here, so everyone should be getting equal access to the floor time. Not everybody wants to take as much floor time as others, but when they want to take some floor time, there should be a way to find a way to allocate that to them.
Yeah, and I'd like to say this. I know I have a tendency to steamroll on occasion. I'm trying my best to at least do that less, if not, at all. So just wanted to say sorry for that. I'm working on it.
and we're all working on improving our interactions in our roleplay. We've been doing this for years. Some people had never roleplayed before this, and so I think I want to take a moment here just to say, you guys are really awesome. You've come a long way from a bunch of you having never played before to where you are now, and it's been a really cool experience for me as an experienced DM, getting to watch people who've never done it before, learning how to interface with their character, learning how to get their character interface with the world and the other characters, and watching people improve and even get as involved as to begin showing character development. You know, even the newer people who don't have that experience, having the just watching that awareness and that aptitude develop has been a really cool experience for me. So I want to just say thank you for coming here and playing this game with me. It's been really fun, and I hope that you guys feel like you're getting better.
I've enjoyed it. This is my first and only time with D&D, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
You make me cry.
I was still fairly new when I joined this, and so, I mean, I feel like I've improved. I didn't make the mistake of picking a book a second time, so that's it up.
See, we're learning and we're growing.
It's still partly my fault because I only want Jesse and not you. But, yeah.
Does anyone have any ideas on how we can better signal for when someone is trying to get the floor time other than crosstalk and hoping that
I mean, if you want,
somebody stops talking?
I just did the exact thing I'm not supposed to do. Sorry. One thing that could work is we could just use like the raised hand emote in like the Tuesday D&D chat, like just have it literally be someone raising their hand because they have something they want to say. If you want to just pay closer attention to it, and so they don't have to talk over people.
No, that works for those who pay attention there, but sadly not all of us see things posted right away.
I can't because I'm streaming, but if everybody could have the audible notifications on, that could help for noticing. So you'll hear the little ping when it comes in.
Like, 'cause, I mean, I think that's what I'm going to try to start doing, so I don't do what I normally do.
You can set that to work in only one channel even.
Yeah. You can go into the channel settings and say, I want this channel to have audible alerts.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, back to what I had said earlier, is sometimes, like, scenes flow, and maybe you're there tangentially and you want to get involved, so that might require you to say, hey, just hang on. Saying hang on is okay. And then, but that would be all you say. You wait for the talking to stop at that point. Hang on, can I say something? And I think that's acceptable as long as you're not trying to continue saying something while other people are talking, because, like, there's going to be people need a verbal confirmation that something needs to happen.
And also delays.
You got something to say, Cyrus?
No, I was
testing the system.
Yeah.
See, it works. But, like, again, because things are, especially in roleplay sessions, things are happening in more or less real time. And so, waiting until a conversation ends to say what you wanted to say, which might pertain to a part of that conversation that's important for a reason, isn't necessarily how it would go. Somebody might say, hang on, whoa, what are you guys talking about? And
just the turn-taking signals that one has from video and everything, or physically being there, are much more difficult to interpret well over just voice. Which is what makes that bit harder of, like, more easily interjecting in a fluid manner for how a conversation would actually go with everyone, in the council room.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think the raised hand thing is an interesting idea. I always keep on one monitor the chat open, which is one of the reasons why I'm one of the more talkative people in like snarking while stuff is going on.
I do enjoy
So,
your snark.
I tend to keep a pretty close eye on what people are typing, so I can definitely work on trying to keep an eye on that.
Well, if we also do that, the ping, is it just for the hand or is it every message? Because then if people start talking in there, you're gonna get ping, 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 ping.
It's every message. I mean, you can set it to be only mentions, or you can set it to be all messages.
I mean, we
Yeah.
could have a raised hand Tuesday D&D channel that people have audio, and so when then if all of them are quiet, and this one gets a ping, that means that somebody is pinging explicitly because they want to interject something.
That could work. Also, maybe pair it with a ping of the Tuesday D&D group, like pinging the role.
Could work.
Maybe.
Well,
I'm not sure if we'd need it to ping the
Yeah,
role, but
yeah.
but it could definitely be worth trying both ways to see how it works.
Because all the people that are in the role are going to be in the room, so as long as they're in that channel, it will ping everyone. You'll hear the ping.
Well, it depends on what people have for their settings. Because some people have it to where they only get ads, and some other people have it for every message.
Yeah, but I said you can set that separately each channel.
For each channel, yeah.
Yeah, we can just say, hopefully the 8 of us can just change that channel setting to make a noise for it, and
Yeah.
it should really only be used when we're
Tuesday night
sitting
period.
down playing, because there's no real reason to ping it otherwise.
To do this setting, by the way, for those who don't know, you right-click the channel and hover over notifications.
Wow, there you go.
It's not all snark, Tristan.
I legit said that to help, not to be.
we could test it out, but yeah, that's why I said that was because if you don't want multiple pings for other things not involved, so yeah, and what I was getting at was to add another channel and or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the idea of another channel specifically for it, over just flooding those in the other channel, just to keep things reasonable and not have everyone going mad from pings that they don't want to.
Alright. I turned mine on all messages for that channel, so I should get pings now.
Yeah, so did I.
Yep.
So there is a ping channel now.
Sweet.
Yeah, if you're in streamer mode, it won't break regardless.
Yes, I'm aware.
So,
But everyone else should be paying attention to it and
Yes.
pause when they need to. And if the 7 of us are doing that, then we should have a pretty good, or at least theoretically, have a pretty good eye on it for allowing people to jump in when they want to.
All right, let's try that. Let's see how well it works. So we've addressed I wanted to say the consistency, but not like how often we meet, but what the game is comprised of. And we have discussed how better to serve ourselves and each other in this group setting where we all want to be able to contribute. Unless you think there's a more important topic to hit first, Sam, I was hoping to be able to devote a part of this time to talking to people about how they want to engage with their character, want their character to engage with the story, and how I can make the story interesting and engaging for them.
Did we hit everyone for the first question? Because I had pulled us off on a tangent, which got us to the tangent of turn taking properly.
I think
Guaco.
I don't know
perhaps...
if we actually hit everyone.
Guaco didn't get to go, I don't think.
Okay, yeah, Guaco and I think Jebel. So, Guaco, would you mind talking to me about, or us rather, about how you feel about the consistency of the game, what the roleplay versus combat kind of thing? A lot of people seem to be... Anyway, I want to hear you.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I think I talked with you a lot before, but I can mention it openly. I really like the roleplay-heavy roleplays in front of the combat-heavy roleplays.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the playstyle I tend to prefer. So this has just gone really well according to my preference. So.
And so you would... It's going well, and you don't see a reason to change, is perhaps what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't really feel like there's anything I dislike per se, besides the time or when we have it. But that is other question anyway.
Yeah. Like I said, I just got home a little bit before we began after a long day of moving stuff around at work, so I am tired.
Yeah.
This is as early as I can run it.
Yeah, I'm aware, and that's why I'm not bringing that up and just mentioning it. That is literally the only beef I have with this roleplay is time. So there's nothing like actual relevant for this talk that I have any beef with.
I would like to take that moment to speak to both of you and to Thomas and say thank you. Thank you for everything you do to make it so that you can be here, given that it's a horrific time of the night for you to show up and stay up until the wee hours of the morning, the late hours of the morning, to be here with us. I
got moved to the AFK channel.
Nice. I am...
Yeah, I think last time I was up to like 10. I think, no, it wasn't last time, it was the time before that. Because I kept talking with Derek, I believe.
Yeah, y'all are chatty Cathys. That's not my fault. But yes, it is. I'm aware because of where you are in the world as opposed to the others in this game. It makes it very challenging, and it's only because of the special circumstances under which you live that allow you to be here, and so I want to say thank you. I know that it's not easy, and I appreciate your presence. I'm very happy to have you as part of the game. And I think it would be a great loss if we didn't, but I understand that anything could happen. So
yeah, I made that clear that for the moment nothing is preventing me, but that could change at any moment, you know.
Well, nothing can replace Leah in my heart.
I agreed, but it's especially nowadays though, with the whole quarantine and all that shit's happening, then I'm not going anywhere right now.
Yeah. Like I said, this is what we got. I'm not even going into work tomorrow. I'm working from home all day.
I got an email that I've been set up for perm. I think it's called in English.
What's that?
Permanent position?
No.
A haircut?
That's not the word.
A perm is a haircut.
Yeah, right. There is it. No, as in a paid off, because they're only going to have 2 people at work because of the coronavirus, so everyone else is gotten a paid time off.
Okay, paid time off. Yeah. PTO, paid time off.
Okay.
Mandatory vacation. Furlough. That's more for government workers, though, isn't it? No, it's not.
It's called permission in Norwegian, so I just thought it might have some similar word in English.
Style, haircut. Okay, yeah, no, we say it a little bit differently. Okay, well, thank you. Thomas,
Yes.
I want to make sure that I'm getting everyone's input and everybody's getting a piece of the floor time here. So, how do you feel about how the game has been comprised of roleplay heavy, combat heavy, mix in between? Is there more of one you'd like to see, or are we doing things in a way that's meeting your needs?
I think it works. I think everything's kind of, what's the word? Organic. You know?
I do.
And I don't know, if you mess with that too much, might be weird.
That
You
makes
know,
sense.
if it works, it works.
If it ain't broke, don't try to fix it.
Alright.
I like the idea of the ping channel because I do know that I don't know if it's because it's after midnight here, and I've got other people in the house. I can't speak very loudly, so I can't. It's very difficult to speak with other people. So this ping channel seems to be a good idea.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to testing that one out and seeing how it plays in reality.
Alright.
I think was the cough an actual cough, or was the cough because of your comment in the ping channel that you had something you wanted to bring up?
I mean, it was a real cough, but the timing was accurate. There's one more thing I'd like to say about combat that occurred to me. Again, as far as like the balance is concerned, I like it. Although I think it would be fun for me at least. I don't know about the rest of you. If there was just the occasional encounter of just kind of weaker enemies, like not necessarily challenging or something, just something where we can exercise some power. Because I mean, to me, that's fun. In the occasional encounter where you can just stomp the enemy.
You want a Smurf?
What?
You want to swerve.
You want a Smurf?
I'm not sure what you
Take
mean
your
by that.
high-level account against low-level accounts.
Yeah. I mean, I guess kind of. But,
Yeah.
Okay.
Those guys are assholes.
There we are.
The encounter against like the small skeleton horde in the vault is a good example in my mind.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's
That one
it's
was
not-
still very dangerous, but it was also lots of fun because you could take out just mass hordes of things in single rounds.
yeah. I know. It's like it's nice to feel like you've actually leveled up by going against someone who hasn't. So you can see the difference between
Where you were and where you are.
where you were and where you are now.
Hey, shout out to 4th edition minions for making
Indeed.
big encounters fun and survivable.
The minions were an interesting idea in 4th edition that I was particularly fond of.
You know, you would be surprised, perhaps, at how much hate I see around the general internet about the minions. I think they were great.
I think their damage was probably a bit more dangerous than it needed to be for how hard they were to hit. But that's more just balanced by the number of them that you're actually including, I think, than like needing to tweak things that way necessarily. But that's what magic missile is for.
It is.
I don't need to care that you're hard to hit. I hit you.
Unless it has shields.
A first level minion in 4th edition dealt 5 damage on a hit with, you know, no dice roll, no modifiers. So if there were 5 minions in a fight, especially at first level, it was very dangerous because they were hard to hit and they had a high 2-hit.
Yeah.
And they just dealt set damage every time they hit. 5 damage, 5 damage, 5 damage. Against, you know, first level characters in 4th edition had like 20 HP. Because they were awesome.
Different times.
I miss it, Sam.
I mean, you could have made this campaign 4th edition.
No, I could not have. making the combat encounters in 4th edition is more involved, and I haven't found the sweet spot in it yet. There's a way to do it quickly and easily, and I haven't figured it out yet.
Give yourself 4 years of it, and I'm pretty sure you'd figure out something that works for you.
I will say, for 5th edition, that the mentality I used in building encounters in Shadowrun transferred very well to 5th edition. Balance was
Throw more guns into it.
Yeah, that's what I did. I mean, Vendar has one, and Raiken has one. Well, I mean, they did.
I mean,
Real-
I'm getting the attack.
Real dragonborns use swords.
Real dragonborns get shot.
Hi.
But we go down with honor.
I mean,
Goodness.
it's a neat hill to die on, but at least you're dead.
Some of us go down in a climax song.
Anywho, we're getting off topic now.
So, I believe I've touched on everybody for that one, and it sounds like people are pretty happy with how things are going. Maybe some more show-off fights as opposed to fights for your life.
More Smurfs.
More
Yeah.
smurfing.
I mean, I will say that the fight that happened right before the dragon was kind of one of those. I mean, there was really just a couple enemies. It wasn't something that was particularly deadly, but you had a death clock in that one of the characters was in a dire situation while you were busting out.
Yeah, we're supposed to be 2, but I kind of fucked off.
Just a little. So
You're learning so well. I'm so proud.
Quickly abandon your friends.
I got robbed blind and I didn't get to punch the douchebag in the face.
I like that you promised him you were gonna punch him. He's like, cool, teleport.
Yeah, I'm gonna find him eventually.
So,
Just
I
20
like
years
that.
down the road. Just
I
like,
remember you.
looks
Yeah.
exactly the same as he did, you know, now, because he's an elf.
And you're old and crooked.
Just deck him.
Yeah, and your arm breaks.
So, something that I wanted to touch on, that I wanted to get people onto the same page on and get people thinking about, because I feel like some people have noticed it and engaged with it and used it well to their advantage, and others haven't shown the confidence in their whether or not they feel they're allowed to do stuff like that. So I wanted to just put it out there so that everybody knows. This is, as a game, Dungeons and Dragons is collaborative storytelling. And what that means is that we all work together to create a story. So it's not me telling you a story. It's not Sam telling you the story, telling you what to do. It's not Guaco telling you what to do. We all contribute a part of the story, and it becomes all of ours. So I, as the DM, have created the world and have said, okay, you know, this is here, it's snowing there, there's a war here, that kind of stuff is going on, but you still have agency and you still have the ability to dictate things in the world. Yeah.
But it's called Everyone Loves Raiken, though.
So that goes back 3 years to when we would run long combats, and the people whose turn it wasn't would just sit around and shoot the breeze Sam style. And at one point, over the course of a couple sessions, they got onto this tangent of taking old movies and TV shows and just replacing one word in the title with the word Raiken. Because it was funny, and we had like 30 different titles. It was just this long chain, you know, back to the Raiken and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, those are
I
good.
forgot about that.
Sorry, I had to poke fun at that. Continue.
And so that's how I landed on calling it Everybody Loves Raiken. Also, because I pushed you guys multiple times to try and come up with a name that you liked that would kind of encompass what's going on, and nobody did, so I chose for you.
And I helped.
I thought Everybody Loves Raiken was one of the funnier ones that came out of that discussion.
I mean, it also goes back to the fact because Raiken always did stupid stuff, especially when he messed up and everybody got crit. So it kind of fit perfectly.
Yeah, nobody actually loves Raiken, but everybody loves Raiken.
Just like in the actual Everybody Loves Raven. Nobody actually loves Raven.
I was, just to digress for a moment, that was probably one of the funniest sessions, was when the group, who at the time was smaller than it is now, went and fought a bunch of giants because they were trying to go across the dwarven lands to get into Aspara, and they had been told by the dwarves, hey, there's giants that are problematic, and if you see them, we want you to take them down. We'll pay you to do it, because make our land safer for dwarves. And they fought a few giants at once, and Raiken goes in and hits one, and I go, okay, you hit him. You do this much damage. Oh, you still have a smite. You could always smite if you wanted to. He's like, nah, I'll save it for later.
It was
That-
almost fucking dead too.
That giant survived his attack with 1 HP. Immediately after Raiken's turn, it became the giant's turn. He attacked one of the characters, got a crit, killed him. On his second attack, got another crit, took down another person. Then it became the next giant's turn. He got a crit and killed a third person.
Nearly
Yeah,
wiped the party.
Yeah, I remember. I think I got hit by like 3 crits in a row.
It was bad. That was an unfortunate fight. I think I got like 7 crits in that fight. Just that one fight.
Have you
I
ever
think that
been a
was
liquid?
Yeah. I think that was the first fight where Vendar actually got knocked unconscious.
That was one of the few times that Vendar has ever got knocked out.
Yeah.
I've only been knocked down like 2 or 3 times, and that was the first time. Yeah, I got. He threw a boulder at me, and I got squished.
Is that the one where Vendar kept running away from him and he just kept following?
Yeah, I think it was.
It just
There
constant.
was also that one guy that one time where I just kept chasing him through the forest.
I just remember from that particular fight that you're referencing, Jacob, was that he couldn't get away from you when he whined at you that he just wanted to leave, just wanted to live,
wanted
and
to
you
live.
said no survivors and then killed him.
Yep, I missed like 4 times and kept chasing him.
Alright, so you're talking about us telling the story.
Yeah. So one of the ways in which you can easily contribute to the story is you can add to your backstory live. Coming into a situation, you can, if you know something or want your character to feel something, you can create a point of reference. You can create a mark in history and say, oh yeah, my character went here and did this, so this is why he knows this kind of thing. There's this, and this can create entire cities.
But you probably should write that down too, so that you don't forget that you did that.
Oh no, that's why I have my pad next to me.
And it's recorded.
Wow, the players should do that for themselves also.
Yes, but like, this is something that I know Sam does frequently. I mean, it's why we know that his character doesn't know jack about necromancy.
And hates potatoes.
Also that. Those are small examples, but, you know...
So sad that you made me do that to potatoes.
It's not my fault. Don't you
Yes,
put that
yes,
on
you
me.
picked a
Don't you
potato.
lay that death at my feet! But, you know, areas, cities, towns, family members, people. All of these are things that you can create on the fly. Just say, I know this person from my past. I went to this place where I saw these kinds of things. As long as they fall generally in line with how things have gone in the world, with the things that I've established, they're gonna get okayed by me. You just say them. And it creates more interesting, engaging, and evolving backstory for your character, and it can help you develop the character more. You go, oh yeah, my character would be afraid of heights because of this time when he was a kid and they were goofing off and he fell off a fence and broke his face. As an example.
Did that once. It hurts.
Maybe it was a bad example. But yeah, like stuff like that can come up on the fly. I mean, 90% of what you hear during the game is me doing that on the fly to make everything. It helps tie everything together. It gives them things to talk about. That's how we build the world.
Soon we're going to literally build a world, because there will be nothing left for it.
I mean, I made a map. You've seen that there are a bunch of points on it. All of those points have been created by the game as we went through them. You went to a city, and I told you who's running the city and what's going on in the city, and you solved some problems there, and then I added the point on the map.
Yeah, I just made a apocalypse joke.
Oh. Sorry. It went over my head. And also, come on, man.
Like the dragons do.
I mean, I think it's just the black one that wants to wipe everything out. Black dragons like wiping out cities.
And the other one still went over our head.
Oh gosh.
I think that was the joke he was making.
Oh gosh. I'm not ready for this.
The white one is just hungry.
So, you can engage with your characters and engage with the world by making stuff up. I mean, that's what this is all about. Everything we do is made up.
Of course.
Raiken fell on Leah and squished her. That created some drama, you know.
Oh, poor Leah.
And also trauma. We made that up.
I'm over it.
That's the thing that
Okay.
happened.
Now they're closer than ever.
I mean, they were pretty close at that point. Not gonna lie.
I remember the joke about her being stuck to his armor after he got up. Cartoon style had been made. Flattened like a pancake.
Now she's not angry at him. She's just embarrassed by him.
Yeah, like in Space Jam, where you know that awful scene where they pump up the live action person.
Yeah.
There is no awful scene in Space Jam. Space Jam is perfect.
Sam, Space Jam is on Netflix right now. You can watch it.
Oh my gosh, I'll be back.
It is a really fun film, though. I think so. Yeah.
I've watched that movie so many times as a kid.
So does that... I don't know if I explained that super well. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Makes sense to me.
Cool.
I'm sorry, you gotta say it all over again.
Cool.
I mean, if it makes sense to Derek, it makes sense to all of us.
Wow.
Low blow. Body blow. Body blow. Okay. And then finally, you know, I have created a lot of story, both in the past and upcoming, that involves characters and some of the backstory that they've given me. And when backstory hasn't been given to me, sometimes I will make things up to fill in that make sense, that go along with the backstory that has been given to me. And I try to use this as a way for you to engage with your character. Say, this is a person from your past. This is a thing that relates to your character, ties into your backstory like this. Is that a comfortable way for you to engage with your character and their backstory and develop them?
Yeah, I like it.
You like it because you got a new friend now with cat ears.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
I like
Gross.
I honestly I also kind of like the idea of getting surprises or things from my backstory that I don't necessarily know about.
Do you though?
I do. Except for
Because the
ones that kill me.
surprise definitely came out of a backstory and you didn't seem to like it.
Except for the ones that kill me.
Well, they're
Well, now you're
definitely
just
all the
closing
same.
doors.
Yeah.
I don't mind if they have a chance to kill me. The ones that just straight up kill me, that's a bit low.
I want that
I mean,
one.
you're alive now, aren't you?
It was a temporary
Ow.
death. You were just dead for a little bit.
Yeah, stop
You
whining.
got better.
Wait, do we get to call him Flatline now?
Is he cool enough to be the Flatline Sam?
I mean, no, I don't think he's cool enough to be Flatline, but like, we work with what we've got.
Oh my god. Derek is having a bad time. I'm so sorry, bro.
I'm just worried Vendar's friend's gonna be gonna be Final Fantasy VII equivalent to Yuffie. It's gonna be in our party around us for a while, and then we wake up and everything's gone.
Man, she did that before she joined the party.
She did. And I
Well,
befriended her for it.
And it's gonna happen again.
Can we steal our bag again?
Like, she did the thing, and then we recruited her, so now she's on our side. She's with us until the end now. She's not the one who's gonna betray us. That's somebody else.
I know who it is.
I mean, it's really obvious.
It is.
Like, all of us should have seen this coming. I mean, come on.
Well, it'll just play out however it plays out. But I do want that to be taken as a learning experience, because... And I don't mean, like, you screwed up kind of learning experience. I mean, I want that to be a, oh, hey, this is a thing that can happen. The enemies can outwit you, can come up with a plan that you don't have a way of seeing around. Not all of them will be able to do that, but there could be people in the world who work that way. Would have been nice if it had been the Assassin's Guild, but they were chatty.
I mean, they're respectable.
One of
I
them
can do
was.
things like that.
One of them was respectful, and you know what
It's
happened?
a noble and old profession.
The party killed him. And took his wagon.
Did. We made it a fancy
So
way.
that's where the wagon came
Wait,
from.
we're in a
Yeah.
stolen wagon?
Yeah, we are.
Are they the baddies, Sam?
I mean, I think we might be.
No,
I mean, the dude came and tried to kill us, so we killed him and took his shit.
Stripped him and left him on the side of the road.
Do you know what the
We did
definition of a
literally. We
bandit
stripped
is?
him naked and left his corpse on the side of the road.
As
Oh my god.
the good guys always do.
Look, they went to the next city and let the guards there know that there was a bunch of dead assassins at the side of the road.
Who had been
Bad
stripped.
guys wouldn't do that.
Yeah, we did a civil service.
Yeah, we didn't let them know that the cart
You-
used to be
You
there.
made the guards go and deal with all of the bodies. Thus,
Yeah, rather
leaving
than
the
leaving
town
it
and
rot.
leaving it undefended.
They have other guards.
You don't know that. There were a lot of graves that they had to dig.
But yeah, they're the good guys, so.
It's true.
They're the
Yeah,
good-
the good guys.
Obviously, come on.
No survivors.
No survivors. Still, like, scared of that moment. It was one of those moments where I was in the characters and I went, ah!
Remember the time Bendar tortured someone to death?
No.
I wasn't there for that.
Neither was Jebel.
I remember the time that Vendar wanted to torture someone to death. And the whole party left and let him do it.
Look at that beautiful rustic architecture.
Ah! Ah! Nothing's going on right back there.
Very rustic.
I mean, I tried to stop him, but he wouldn't have it, so I got angry.
You think that's an A-frame?
Anywho,
It's fine though. It's fine that Christoph was there.
You did
Luckily,
stop
Christopher
him.
was there.
Yeah, right, Christopher. Might be a bit watching Frozen.
Have I missed anything important, Sam?
I don't know. Was there anything else that you had wanted to bring up?
I guess I just wanted to get an idea from each person if they feel like they're getting a chance to engage with their character in a meaningful way that would allow them to develop the character. So...
Hey, I fought a dragon and now I can talk better.
Oh, because you leveled up and boosted your charisma?
Outside of the leveling system?
I can talk gooder now.
I mean, I think that Leah has had a very interesting, if not the most interesting, developmental arc of any of the characters. Given that while she's still a warlock, she changed patrons, which is huge.
That is actually very true.
Do you feel like that was a good chance to interface with who your character is and help them to develop in a way that made the game more interesting to you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it is a little disturbing that her new patron is kind of in love with her, but, you know, take what I can get.
I mean, who wouldn't be? She's adorable.
And
And look at that charisma. Through the roof.
I guess she's just irresistible.
Good lord.
Good Mabel. Alex, do you feel like you've had a chance to develop your character? How can I help you?
Do you need to help me?
Do I need to help you?
I like how Raiken has developed. Would you say that he's developed?
I think that is entirely up to you.
He uses his smites now, at least.
The
He
sound
does
of
use his
progress.
smites.
It sounds like a slam from a hammer.
I mean, so like that dungeon was very much designed around a developmental arc for Raiken to really come into his own as a representative of Cord.
And I felt like I got to play him exactly how I wanted to play him. Especially in the chamber that had the statue of Cord in it.
That chamber sucked.
He's still fondling the statue of Cord.
Yeah, no, I like how I've gotten to play Raiken, and I know I'm not one of the ones that steps up a lot of times. I'm still, even after all these years, I'm still trying to find the ability to be more confident in speaking up and taking action. But, I mean, the times that I do, I enjoy playing him and how the story has helped me develop him.
If anything, I'll say that Raiken has become a little bit more compassionate.
He has. I think Leah has helped him with that. Leah and the whole destruction of his country and like seeing it firsthand.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, when you put Raiken next to his brother, you can tell how much Raiken has changed.
His brother.
Because I feel like his brother's a lot like how Raiken were in the beginning.
I can kind of see that. They are brothers after all, so they have to be. They kind of have to be a little. They have to have be kind of similar. I mean, depending on how they grew up, they were raised by the same parents.
Tatsuya's perfect. Leave him alone. Did you snipe at my perfect boy?
He's not perfect. Dick.
I feel a climax song coming on.
My own brother. It'll be worth it.
How about Malachi?
What?
Do you feel like you've been given opportunities to explore who Yukikaze is?
Yes, but may have dropped the ball. Let it roll away from me a little bit.
Do you have
But
a plan for
I've-
picking it back up?
Yeah, there's a few things I need to address character-wise that I should have been doing that I haven't been doing, and other things that I wish to do for myself. So we will see. I'm not going to give any spoilers. Thank you very much.
Uh-oh.
You guys cannot know Yukikaze all the way through and through unless you engage Yukikaze. Thank you very much.
I mean, is there anything that you want us as players to help?
No, because, you know, that ruins the organicness of it, you know? You gotta be yourselves, and I will be Yukikaze.
Is there something about the character, do you think, that you've been trying to convey to the party that you don't think you've conveyed successfully?
No, anything that I haven't conveyed would be the shortcomings as me as a player, playing my character properly.
Mm-hmm.
So, that will be probably. I just need to, like the discussion with interjecting. That is one part where I just need to step in more, and not, because I found myself a couple times sitting on the sidelines a little too much when I could have been speaking up.
Yeah. And it's fine. As long as we're recognizing areas where we want to improve and trying to improve them, that's all that's all I can ask.
But I'm not going to speak much about my character because it's for you guys to find out.
Not forcing anybody to say anything about their character they don't want to give away.
Well, maybe I want people to show some Yukikaze love.
I mean, that could be an ask. Like, do you feel like the rest of the party doesn't give consideration to each other in a meaningful way?
As a whole, I still don't want to say because I don't want to really affect the way we play because I want us to play the way we feel is right.
Okay.
So I mean, that's another thing that, because like these characters have been traveling with each other
months
nonstop for at least 3 months now. I think for Lara Mendes is at 3 months.
Yeah.
So these characters have been in much closer quarters for much longer than we do, because we'll like skip over a week of travel time and things like that, and like things come up. Like these are people who are close to each other. So if there are things that we should know that we would have spoken about, or that we would conceivably have like pushed on, or things like that, then that's a reasonable thing to keep in mind, because like it might not have been important enough to say like, oh yeah, we're skipping over 3 days of travel time, did anyone do anything particularly exciting? It might not have been something that would have necessarily come up during that, but like these are characters who conceivably are fairly close to each other.
In that regard, I would say nothing major on my part.
Okay.
So from my perspective, because I've been watching this going on for 4 years, I would say that I, especially lately, find myself a little bit surprised as a viewer of the story, sort of from the outside, by how the characters treat each other. Or respond to each other, especially in stressful situations. Mostly because, as Sam just said, they are conceivably people who are very close and comfortable with one another by this time because they've been traveling and sleeping and fighting together for 3 straight months, relying on each other in life and death situations. And sometimes I feel like a thing comes up for one character, and another character, or even multiple other characters, might their responses feel odd to me if taken from the perspective these guys have been relying on each other in life and death situations for 3 months. It's like, why are they treating this flippantly? Why are they not concerned about this? Why was this or that question left unanswered? Why did they just brush this off?
Sorry.
When this is potentially a person they, by this time, could be caring about. And the question that rides in my mind, well, is there something that the player is thinking that is preventing the character from caring in that way? Is there something that I don't understand about the relationship, about how the players are interpreting the relationship? And that's the kind of thing I want people to think about. I'm not saying you have to be caring and lovey-dovey. I just want to make sure that people are engaging with the fact that, yeah, you have your character's growth, you have your character's levels increasing, but you also have, these characters have been spending a lot of time with each other, and should have a level of trust and a sort of a bond there.
Laramendus has a tendency of abandoning us.
Yeah.
So, Laramendus is also considerably older and an elf. 3 months is a blink of an eye to actually get to know someone. So I might
take a bit longer.
Emphasize that too much, which is an entirely reasonable thing to bring up. That he might conceivably be needing to look at the party more as a group of people that he's much closer attached to than certain situations have ended up being. Although I don't think, has he actually abandoned the party recently?
Since Cyrus joined.
I think the most
I
recent...
think he's only actually abandoned the party completely during the bubble.
But like done anything that's in line with that. Because like I out of character joke about Escape Plan Delta.
Yeah. The only thing that comes to mind is was in the dungeon, which is just a couple of days ago in game for the characters. Well, no, about a week, but still. Because there were 2 instances where Laramendus made a choice to say, I can save one person in this group, looked at it from a utilitarian point of view, grabbed them, and tried to leave the rest of the party.
That is true. It's 2 times?
Saying, because there was the time
There's the poison cloud.
Yeah, the poison cloud, and then there was the time that ended you up. Oh, was it the mirror the mirror match, right?
Something like that, yeah. Because I got teleported.
Oh yeah, I took Cyrus away.
Yeah. And you didn't know how that was going to affect your teleport, but it took you to a different place than you intended, but like that was still a form of, and this is not sniping at you, it was a character decision, but you were asked if there was any time where this had happened. I'm thinking I would count those 2 as along that line.
Those actions are definitely along that line. He has a bit of a history of looking out for himself and as many people as he can take with him, which is
1
few.
In most cases, 1.
Yeah. And yeah, so that's definitely a thing that I can keep more in mind about how he could be influenced by
time with
his attachments with people.
Yeah. I think that's these are good things to understand. Like, 'cause sometimes we think we're playing a character a certain way, and we're like, yeah, this all makes sense, and we haven't realized that we got hyper-focused on one thing that in the grand scheme makes a little less sense. Not that it makes no sense, but it's like, oh, maybe if I take a step back and look at a slightly bigger picture, I could tweak some things and things would feel more organic. And anybody can make this mistake, so there's no reason to feel bad about these kind of things. This is just an opportunity to look at how can we develop. How can we make ourselves better?
Yep.
And that's why we're having this discussion now. That's why I've set aside so much time for this, is so that we can all get on the same page and kind of take a moment to look back at what we've done, this cool story, these interesting characters that we've been donning every week for 4 years, and where we can do even better than we have.
Alright, well. I mean, in regards to whether or not feeling we've connected with our characters, in my case, I mean, there hasn't exactly been a thing that's as focused on Cyrus, but that makes sense. He's the newest. He's had the least time to kind of build anything here. But, so I don't really have any complaints there, but it would be nice to see something like that down the road. Like, I'm kind of guessing there's already plans for it at some point.
I have something for everyone.
Indeed.
I have one thing though.
Okay.
It's kind of response to something you said earlier, but I didn't find a good window, so I kind of just let it slide and I forgot about it. But you mentioned like decision-wise, like even if someone decides to let something slide instead of bringing up a discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes though, I can't speak for everyone, but I can at least speak for myself. A lot of us are, and me included, are people that not necessarily get into conflicts that often in real life, and therefore might struggle to find out how to properly do that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it might be a personal player thing and not necessarily a character thing.
Well, sure. And that's why I'm asking about how can we help you engage with that better.
Yeah, because I know that I tend to tremble during conflicts, and I don't do good at those things, and I've been trying to ignore that when playing as Leah, but sometimes it doesn't work.
So this is an area where more exposure and practice could help.
Maybe, yeah.
I think there can also definitely be, like, you take the step back out of the character and say, I want to convey this, and move forward in that direction instead of necessarily needing to, for every little interaction, have the words that are said. We can try for those kinds of times that are going to be maybe more difficult for the players to put themselves into, to take that step back so that it can still happen and everyone's aware of what is going on in more macro terms. And then we can, once an understanding is had there, we can either dive in and do something or just move on with the knowledge that this conversation, this discussion was had.
Mm-hmm. That can work, yeah. And it's similar to when, you're trying to utilize a character who is high charisma to convince NPCs of things, but you can't think of a good argument. You're like, well, I want to make this happen, and I'm going to roll my charisma to do it, as opposed to role-playing the whole thing. Same.
Yeah. Yeah. Same idea.
Same idea.
Just not necessarily with roles, unless it's...
Yeah. Unless there's something you're trying to convince.
There could be something with roles.
Yeah. You could be trying to convince the other character of something. How about Thomas? You've been through 2 characters, and you're trying to develop this new one.
Yeah.
How do you feel it's been going?
No, I quite like Juggle, actually.
Excellent.
He's just because of who he is, he's got more capacity to get involved. Bruno was a very quiet individual.
He was the only other adult in the room, though.
We were sorely lacking without him.
Oh, well.
Yes.
He needs adults.
Me. Armendus needs other
I
adults.
need an adult.
No, you were not.
That's probably why there's been so much Nalia lately.
Raiken's an adult. He just might not be a very responsible.
Okay.
That's why he's not an adult.
Okay. So,
Vendor falls into the same.
So I've been working up ways to help allow you to interface more with your class, just because I don't feel like the book itself gives enough mechanical stuff to really shine in there. So, and I've been looking at all the classes this way, seeing what I can do for the story moving forward, so everybody can feel more like they're representative of who they want to be and what they want to play, if that makes sense.
Makes sense.
So I can at least tell you that I've got that on the horizon for you, Thomas.
Okay.
And is that a direction that you want to go? Is help Jebel interface more with this role he's taken on in the world? Is that interesting to you? Is that a part of the story you would like to explore?
Yes.
Okay.
Nice to get more into who he is, what he is.
And I would definitely take a moment to remind people that you can utilize each other's characters to get more into who your character is in the world. I notice, and it's not a bad thing necessarily, that a lot of the real, like, heart-to-hearts of a character speaking to themselves and really kind of reflecting. Self-reflection tends to happen in the presence of NPCs, and that might be because it just seems easiest or safest, but you can also do this with the PCs.
I was going to say one of my favorite things was when Jebel and Vendar just were in the back of the wagon bitching about the desert.
Yeah, that was fun.
It's a good character moment.
It is. It's a great character moment, and it's definitely something to not forget and remember to incorporate those kinds of, oh yeah, we had a camaraderie into your future interactions. I mean that from both sides. You know, those are good things to you know, write them down. Like, that's kind of the purpose of the journals, is maybe the journal says, you know, I'd really never interacted with Vendar so much, but he's not such a bad guy. We got to commiserate about sand.
Now you're interacting with somebody, and then you just like look at them, and one of you looks at the other one and says "sand" and looks back, and you know that this person, there's something wrong about this person.
It's now their secret language. They get a real sandy feel from some of the NPCs. Yeah. Just a vibe. Gritty. What did I miss? Lair? Sam?
I'm pretty happy with his interactions with the world. I think that it's definitely a valid point that people have made, that he tends to be fairly slow to change. Mm-hmm. Like, looking at him at the beginning and looking at him now, I think that he's probably changed the least of the characters, or at least like definitely down there, which partly does make sense for an elf. But I've been very happy with his character moments. I guess it's the whole Ione thing. That was a big change.
That was
not so much in his like worldview, it pushed him a little bit harder in that worldview than he was used to, I suppose.
And I think, I mean,
before it was pretty like, it tend over there, and now it's like, yeah, I mean, I should.
And in my own defense, I think that's exactly how that stuff should kind of happen, at least with where the gods are concerned. They're looking for people who are already spreading their word in the world.
Just gotta, like, knock over the domino instead of, like, kicking a person in the ass. It's much easier.
It's so much easier. How about Jacob?
Yeah?
How you feel about Vendar's development since the beginning? Like, he feels like a very different character to me, personality-wise, from when he started. And I think that's a really cool thing.
I think he's grown a lot. He was pretty, especially the no survivors and shit, and stabbing the orc in the dick, and
he's come a long way.
Yeah, I think he's grown a lot.
I'm so glad I didn't know young Vendar.
I'm so glad I didn't know Vendar a month before I knew Vendar.
Yeah.
You might have stabbed me in the dick.
I mean, I did try to shoot him with an arrow once. That is true. Poison.
I mean, to be fair,
but I was charmed, and you abandoned us. I think you deserve that one.
I wouldn't say that I deserved it, but I definitely could see where he was coming from.
Yeah, you made it through. Your mage armor saved you by like 1 point.
Shield saved me.
It was shield.
Abjuration is such a wonderful school of magic, and I love it lots. He feels very properly wizardy. The last time I played a wizard, I was playing an evoker, and it just felt weird to me.
Too much damage.
Yeah, it was like, I just feel like I'm... Yeah, I don't know. It was weird, but like this feels like a proper wizard.
I think that it was an interesting choice, and I honestly think it was... It has given me a great amount of respect for Abjuration wizards. The School of Abjuration, of course, is great. As a person who often plays a paladin, I tend to think along the lines of how can I defend things? How can I better defend the party and myself? And I'm impressed, to say the least, to see how the Abjuration wizard is a wizard who accomplishes that very well. Just don't expect that from the wizard.
And then when he fails at that, he can abandon them very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
nice and easy.
Wizard.
It's just like, well... I'm dead now, but I'm not.
And so... The times when I've allowed... I shouldn't say allowed. When I've incorporated elements from your backstory into the world for you to interface with, have those seemed like good opportunities to you to get some interesting roleplay out? It seemed like you got into them pretty well, but I want to hear, like, if that was something that you enjoyed.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it all. I think you're a great DM. I've really enjoyed this whole campaign.
Oh, man. Well, I wasn't fishing for that compliment, but thank you. So, like, even the scene with your sister, because I know that was a pretty emotional one, at least for her character.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Okay. Because I do intend to try and pull some more stuff from different characters' backstories and build on what I can see as making sense in different characters' backstories. So, as you asked, Derek, there will still be some surprises that I can tie back to backstories. So, I guess I should just stop and say, is that okay? If I'm doing something like that and I say, oh, this is a place that you've been to before, you know, because it makes sense that your character would have been here, or this is a person that you knew before, you know, is that okay? Is that something that you can work with? You can go one at a time. Jacob?
Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot.
Cool. Derek?
Yeah, I'd be game with that.
So, just being informed, like, this is a person you know, this is the quick rundown of that kind of relationship that I'll let you build further on that, but this is how they know you. That you'd be able to work with that and you wouldn't feel like I'm overstepping it?
I like
I'd be fine
that.
with that.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I imagine Cyrus has run into quite a number of people over his adventuring career, so...
That has not
Perhaps-
escaped my... has
So,
not
like-
escaped my thinking.
I mean, I can even see it as someone he's just forgotten about, and that's why it would be, like, kind of a little bit in the gray area, just trying to figure out where the relationship is, just 'cause, like, oh, it's you, you're, oh, yeah, you're that guy.
Yeah.
It's the I finally found you, you asshole. I'm sorry. I mean, you're probably accurate, but do I?
I know
Hi.
you. It was a Tuesday. I'm sorry.
I've been giving you a lot of characters and things from Leah's background and her mother's background that I would love for you to use. So for me, I'm all in.
Okay. And
That-
the couple times that I've been able to really make that a part of the story, were you okay with that? Satisfied with how that went?
It went a little different than I expected because of the dragon.
Dragons are great. Come on.
But yeah, and if you want to like introduce new characters, like say cousin or something, or like I don't know, some merchant or something you might have run into in Watchtower Point. Whatever, you can do what you want with that.
All right. I mean, again, it's all kind of organic, so sometimes it'd be like, oh yeah, maybe, you know, somebody in Thanandir, but, like, then you never were in the parts of Thanandir where it would have made sense, kind of thing.
Yeah.
The party, I will say,
the
the party
thing
has
is-
been, like, moving rapidly all around into areas where they didn't necessarily have prior influence.
Yeah. The thing is, though, Leah would never expect to run into anyone from her past. Because of her past being so specifically in that little city, or people that usually didn't move.
Yeah, no,
outside
that's a very
So-
fair point. So, and that's why I think that running into this guy here and in such a dire situation must have been interesting,
Oh yeah.
if quick.
It's definitely on her mind. But right now she's talking with Nalia about those sort of things.
Yeah. I mean, she doesn't even actually know what happened to him. She wasn't in the room when it happened.
That's true. She just found him melting and was like, yeah, there's a dragon.
Success.
There's a dragon to deal with. Should just deal with the dragon. But yeah, she doesn't actually know what happened. That's true.
Yuki? Malachi?
I see the reason why
I've
I
already
like
been
the-
like, this whole area has been nothing but your backstory and people associated with it, and me building on the stuff you gave me.
Well, yeah, but the thing is that I don't have any problem with anything you did because, you know, giving you information about a character and then you altering it or making it work with the world makes it organic as a character because, you know, that character's not going to think like I am. That character might not do what I necessarily am going to do. So, you know, it leaves the unexpectedness with the responses to make it feel like it is another person, not kind of just the way you want it to be, you know?
Were you surprised that Haruna didn't end up being your girlfriend?
No, I actually didn't plan that at all. Or even the responses you did with her was quite a bit more than I thought it would be.
Did you ever find out when the wedding was?
I like that the party never did ask that. It just totally by the wayside in the wake of everything else.
Never thought
And
about it.
So,
And
I don't
just
know if Arminus was in that group when he was talking to her about that. I don't think he knows.
like even with my father, like I really didn't get time to touch base with you, but I was gonna make him more of a, even though he was a religious guy, was more of a very stern, rough, kind of around the edges guy, and strong.
yep.
But you had him more as a very religious kind of person, like very calm, very collected, very you know. I felt more of a someone you would find being very religious. So, you know, things panned out a little different than I thought it would be, but that's what makes the story interesting because if it goes the way you expect, then what's the point of doing it? You know, if it's just gonna go, it becomes linear. You know.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I gotta say that Ryuzaki is one of my favorite NPCs to roleplay because of the relationship he has with his people and the relationship he has with his son. And it's just so much fun to have a character who is in this powerful leadership position be someone who cares and loves as much as he does.
So yeah, that's I you know I like it the way it flows like that because I want things to be unexpected. I want things to be something I would enjoy, but also something I'm not expecting.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, with what information I gave you, you worked with it. You made something interesting, and I have no big critiques to give you at the moment, other than I'm having fun.
Alrighty.
With that character though, I feel I got a real like Native American chieftain sort of vibe from him.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that was kinda cool.
Definitely, part of the vibe I was going for was society in balance, kind of a thing. Balancing nature and development with them, because they have to be able to survive in a harsh environment, and they're nomadic, so they don't build structures. They find other ways of surviving. So, yeah. I also really like the dichotomy it sets up between the two styles of Dragonborn living. You have the Western Dragonborn from Arcosia, who are very much this powerful, confident race that put a lot of emphasis on bravado and machismo. And then you have the Eastern Dragonborn tribes, which are very interreliant, and they understand that they have a very delicate relationship with each other and with their surroundings.
But they're also very strong and proud too.
Yes. It is possible to have a quiet kind of pride. I wanted a different kind of... They are definitely a very, very capable, proud society.
Well, because, if we get... Because the fuck, I'm gonna say it wrong. The Shinseiketsu?
Shinseikatsu.
Yeah, Shinseikatsu. That, we do still honor, the strength of the Dragonborn to run that as part of our governing part of our society, where we utilize strength to kind of show position,
Just because Ryuzaki speaks quietly and slowly doesn't mean he is not strong.
Well, that's what I mean. Is like that's why I found it interesting the way you played the character, the way I originally kind of thought I wanted him to be. So that's what made it fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Strength comes in many forms. How do y'all feel?
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
I'm okay. How are you?
Hoot.
I'm good. Tired. I would like to jump back into the story if we can. So, does everybody feel like they have a better understanding of the positions of the people that they're playing with? And, maybe we can have a check-in like this every now and again?
Yeah, I suppose.
Doesn't
That
have
makes
to be
sense.
frequently, but,
How long you thinking about doing part of the session? Just a little bit of touch base kind of thing in the session, or
What do you mean?
because about 9:30 right now, so
It's not
I'm just saying.
We usually run till 10:30.
Yeah. So are we gonna look to play for about an hour?
Yeah.
Okay. I just didn't want us to get deep in there and then be up till 2 a.m. and then be like,
I'm not gonna do that to anybody, especially since, like, I don't have to go into the office tomorrow, but I still have to work.
Alright, cool. I just wanted to make sure that part. I'm good to go then.
Okay. Alright, well, thank you for taking the time to talk with me. And yes, I was aware that it could take a while, and so thank you for having the patience to see through all these things with me. And I did want to have that be part of the session just because it's important, and I think that it could be valuable to share with even the audience, as large or small as it ever may be, to say, you know, this is how we do maintenance, this is how we keep things good and reciprocal for everybody. Okay?
Okie dokie.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I didn't write a summary for last week, and I feel awful about that, but it's been so crazy lately with the epidemic. I will do that. I'll do it tomorrow. Last week, however, the party had gone about its different tasks. Jebel had been looking for Dusty. Raiken had been fighting in the temple. The rest of the party, for the most part, had been helping Nalia deal with the shaken nerves after this encounter with the ancient black dragon. And Vendar and Cyrus were out helping the guards rebuild portions of the city or shore them up. And that is when the Tabaxi Lin reappeared and convinced Vendar that she wanted to get out of the city and wanted to know if there was some way he could help her do that. Which he decided to introduce her to the rest of the party and get her question out there for her. It was shortly after that discussion began. I would say that a lot of the party pushed back on that idea, so they're still in discussion. It was inconclusive, and Jebel had tactfully gotten her out of the party's presence by enlisting her aid in finding the man who stole his money. After that, the party was summoned to the council, the High Council of Tuka, which was comprised of 7 people representing the 3 major races and their genders, their major genders, I should say, and 1 human to represent the other populations that are not of those 3 major races, where they were run through a series of interrogation-style questions to try and determine what type of threat the city may be facing and how it related to this party. And after these questions were answered, with some interesting revelations, the party was told to go to wherever they would be spending the night, and they would receive word with the council's decision on the disposition of their weapons and their wagon. But one of the council had mentioned that their cooperation in the proceedings thus far did speak favorably to that decision, so they have a little insight into how that might go. Maybe. And so the party had just left that building. They're now in the street in front of this civic building. You're now back out in Tuka in this area. You are right by this very large. So this area here is known as the Memorial Grounds. It is a giant graveyard. Like, these are rows and rows of memorials to people who died. Hundreds. Thousands, even. So this is the area of the city you're in, and what you can see, these buildings, there is acid damage around here, like this streak here. And that's pretty consistent around. There's just patches here and there where just portions of buildings are melted away. And at this time, as it is evening and the sun is setting and the air is cooling, people are milling in this area. You will see that there are many people in the memorial grounds trying to go through life as business as usual, putting flowers at graves and offering prayers. There are people in the streets. Some of them seem distant or lost, but for the most part, you can see that there is a tension in the air, but also an air of trying to get back to normalcy, if that makes sense. So that is the setting of where you are as you come out. And as you had left the building, there had been discussions of what the party wanted to do next. The party had told the council that they wanted to go back to Bromdor, and the council had said, if you need a way to get there, in light of the services you render to the city, we could help you with that by getting you on a trade ship, a merchant vessel, and getting you through the customs there by some, bureaucratic means, potentially.
The best means.
Wrong character, Sam. So, at this point, Nalia would turn to the group and say, well, I think that went better than I anticipated for you, given everything that had happened. I take it you're going to be staying the night here and waiting for that information. I think, and she turns to look at Nerevar, and she says, I think Nerevar and I will go back to the Mages Guild. I think, Lair, that we're going to go back to Bromdor ahead of you. We should. But you should do whatever your party needs to take care of before you come find us.
We will attempt to follow swiftly and keep in touch to see what the situation is like over there now.
She's going to reach her hand forward, seeming to be hoping you'll offer yours.
Okay, yeah.
She's going to take your hand and she's going to squeeze it tenderly, and she'll say, if anything comes up, send.
Immediately.
She's going
Even
to...
if it's my 6th level spell slot.
She's going to smile, but there you can see worry knitting her brow, and she's going to turn and begin removing herself.
I'm going to speak up, and because we're all right there.
Mm-hmm.
If oh my god. What's her name?
Nalia.
Nalia. I'd be like, well, Nalia, on a positive note, he's a follower of my own now, so he can't keep anything from you.
I hadn't thought about that. Thank you, Yukikaze.
Be safe, Nalia.
And she'll turn towards you, and she'll actually kneel down and offer her hand forward, much the same way she did with Lair.
I'm just gonna give her a hug.
She seems a bit surprised by this gesture, actually. As there's a long moment before she seems to come to her senses and return the hug. She says, you too, Leah. I'll see you in Bromdor.
And I expect that the promise to send is reciprocal?
She's going to give Leah one last squeeze before standing up, careful not to bump her or anything. And she's going to cock an eyebrow at you and say, "Of course. You think I'm going to leave you alone?"
He will smile and say, I wouldn't have it any other way.
We fought a dragon
Best of
together.
luck
I
to
know I
both
can
of you.
count on you. What'd you say, Derek?
Yeah.
I said best of luck to the both of you.
She's going to nod and say, "Thank you, Cyrus." Arvar is going to look around and realizing that he's sort of in the middle of the
Just
group.
excuse me, just if I can just... He, like, puts his hands between two of you and just, like, pushes away a little bit. Just, like, slip through. There's a big opening over one way, but he just goes through people.
I'm hoping that I can find some more information on the person I'm looking for in Bromdor. Nalia has given me the name of some contacts that I can speak to once I arrive, so... If I'm not still there when you arrive, you'll know that I moved on, and, thank you. In case I don't get a chance to say it, and he's gonna kind of, spin to make eye contact with each of you.
It'd be okay to still, like, send to you and, like, maybe ask for assistance.
If I am still in this dimension when you need help, I will do what I can. But know that I have my own mission here.
Understandable.
Good luck, and may your search end happily and swiftly.
He's going to smile at you there, and he's going to extend his hand for a handshake.
I will shake his hand.
It has certainly been an interesting experience in your world, and if my time here is as short as I hope it will be, then you have my best wishes that things continue to improve in this way. You've seen that someone figured out how to create residuum, and I think you'll be able to do it again. Your Nalia's a very smart woman.
If anyone can figure it out, it's her. Hopefully, she has all the tools she could need to tinker.
With the knowledge I've given her, I think it will be a lot sooner than anyone anticipated. If I'm still in Bromdor when you arrive, look me up. Now, if you'll excuse me... And he's going to, push his way carefully through the circle and, follow Nalia as she strides off to the west. So, I've dismissed my NPCs.
So I'm gonna look at everyone as like, you know, they're probably gonna need money to rebuild and whatnot. Can I borrow some money to see if there's a place I can get a new backpack? Somebody, please.
How much do you need?
Whatever. I just would like a backpack to put my stuff in. So whatever it would cost for that. I'm not asking for more.
We can attempt to go down to wherever there would be some kind of market once it's light and see if people are vending. I'm not sure that we'll find something, given the state of the city.
I understand, but I'd like something to carry my stuff in at some point. Just mentioning it is one thing I need. Other than that, I'm pretty much good to go to sleep and call it a night. So,
we should probably discuss what it is we're doing next.
I want to get my money back.
Where did that friend of yours go off to?
She's searching for the guy who stole his money.
Does she know where we will be staying? So that she can contact us, or well, contact you should she find him?
Out of character, we were staying in the same inn. Didn't for that.
Maybe you should ask that in character. Because I don't think that's been determined.
Did they not have a name the first time?
It had a name the first time. I just don't think the party has determined where it's staying.
I thought we had told the council that we were at the Silver Dragon, and they had stated that it was still in well enough repair, or it was not in their list of buildings that are in a large enough state of disrepair.
Yes. That is accurate to what they said.
All right,
So I think that the party currently believes that we are going to stay at the Silver Dragon. Whether that's actually the case when we get there is a different story.
Well, that's where I believe we're going.
And that's where we stayed first time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well then, back in character. Wait, what was the question again?
I had asked if she has a way of contacting you.
Yeah.
She's exceedingly good at finding us wherever we go anyway.
And we're going back to where we were before, where she knew where we were.
So such thing as, well, she is a, never mind. I forgot she is a, what are the feline races name called again, Tristan? Tabaxi. So she's a Tabaxi, so I'm not surprised she can find you easily.
I'm not sure what you're insinuating.
Shepard's just gonna look at Vendar and trying to like lean in and.
Well, like a hound dog, or?
I think he's saying you smell.
I think he's just being racist.
Oh no, he could use a bat.
There's something I've been thinking about. Everything's now been going very quick. Like, after we were taken, we all ended up in different places. I didn't know what happened to the rest of you. Suddenly there was just a dragon and everything was going down.
Well, that mind reading elf took all my money. He took Yukikazu's money, and then he ran away. But then...
Mind reader, huh?
Yeah.
Bummer.
He was in the warehouse.
That's the one they've been asking for.
Mm-hmm.
And none of you got any information on all the men with the blue hands.
I think the person with the most information on this planet is probably you. Because from the sounds of it, you knew they existed. Unlike everyone else, including my father.
I've never seen him ever.
I didn't even see him this time.
I mean, I think there are puddles somewhere over there.
Yeah, they were goo by the time I was done.
Same, didn't know what. Were they standing in the trajectory of the dragon?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
they got
right in
caught.
front of me. It was fun.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Cyrus.
Yeah, for a brief moment, Cyrus saw his future.
Oh, he's alive. Raiken
I'm sure you'll die
slaps
many
his
more times
back.
before it sticks.
No, seriously, I left you there. I'm sorry. I tried to find the others, but kinda got myself stuck inside a woman's home. I did a bad calculation on my teleport.
I see.
Better than getting stuck inside a woman.
That would be
The
worse.
spell would fail if that was the case, and it would be very uncomfortable. Not for the woman, for the caster. She would be fine. The woman.
See, last time these guys had me, they had me for a year. I expected to have more time.
So, do me a favor. What do tell me literally every single thing you know about them.
It's not really that easy.
Try.
They had me for a year, but and they did things, unspeakable things. They tried to do with me what I expect they did to you. But I'm not a sorcerer, and they didn't know that.
It is uncommon for anyone other than sorcerers to have access to magic at such a young age.
Yes, they... After a priest didn't know what was going on with me, the orphanage got hold of them. They said they could cure me or teach me to control it. I'm not entirely sure what I told them. And it was a lie, of course. See, I'd forgotten.
Did Nelio want to know more about these guys? That's in character.
From what she told,
Go ahead.
from what she told me, they are myth, are legends.
They were.
Well, I'd
Do you
never
remember the
heard
name of the
them,
priest?
so- the priest?
You said a priest got in contact with them.
He never introduced himself. He was just a town priest. Most towns have at least one priest. They
But
thought
working with that information, you could find out who he was?
Is there any chance that it was the same person that was in the room earlier today?
No, that was one of the... Oh, you mean right now, in there?
The ones that captured us earlier, were they the exact same people?
Oh, one of them were, but they weren't the priest. The priest was just a town priest.
No, what I'm wondering is, this priest knew how to contact them? Even if, I believe you said earlier that he didn't know who they really were, thought that they
No, the
missed-
people at the orphanage didn't know who they were. I don't think the priest was involved. See, after Zephyr spoke to me and taught me the powers, I accidentally set one of the kids on fire.
One of the kids?
She was mean.
Oh, that makes it okay.
No,
Yeah, how
it
dare she.
doesn't.
It wasn't an accident.
On fire.
You're not supposed to set people on fire unless
Okay,
they
hold on.
intend to harm you.
I want to get this straight. The orphanage contacted these people, or the priest contacted?
The orphanage did. They first contacted a priest, and the priest didn't find out what was wrong, so they then contacted these
they
guys.
contacted.
So,
So if Nalia wants to know more about who these people are, you should tell her to get in contact with the orphanage.
The
Because
orphanage
they...
doesn't exist anymore.
Does anyone from the orphanage still exist?
I don't know.
She burned them all on the way out.
This is very hard, okay?
I understand, but
Be easier.
I
We're
just
just trying to-
recently remembered this. All of this. Only thing I remembered was me accidentally getting burning the kid. The priest was there, and then I was standing outside the orphanage all in flames. It wasn't until
The whole orphanage went up? You burned all of the kids?
I didn't know I did it.
Leah. Lorelei is poking your cheek.
Yes.
Perhaps we should not have this discussion in the street.
It might be wise.
Would you like to go to the tavern? The Silver Dragon Inn to continue this?
Yeah,
It seems a reasonable place.
Okay.
yeah, let's go someplace a little more private.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure of the logistics of this. So you can go there and then continue pretty much right where you left off. It does take a while to get there. You do the thing at the desk, pay some money. It's gonna
during
be...
that time, Leah thinks about how to properly phrase herself.
Okay. It's going to be 4 gold pieces to rent the rooms. And you can all gather up in one room for the discussion.
Each or in total?
No, in total for 2 rooms.
Okay, I'll just take that from the bag of holding.
Okay. Okay, so I didn't want to interrupt what was going on, but it seemed important that we get the location of it down. Otherwise,
Yeah. Had I known exactly where this conversation was going, I might have started with that.
but I didn't want to lose the momentum. So, Leah, it's difficult to talk about this, and Jebel, apparently everyone got burned.
Yeah. So, as I was saying, after Sintara Mill removed Zephyr, I suddenly got all of the memories back. That entire year was gone. All of it.
Wait, but you knew that the orphanage burned, so you had fragments?
I knew it was burning because I woke up standing outside it and everyone was angry at me, calling me a witch and chasing me out of the city. I never knew the logistics behind it.
Okay.
Now I do. I did it, but I didn't control myself.
Okay.
I
Can
think Zephyr-
patrons do that? Like directly control your body?
I don't know. I mean, maybe his will did it. I don't know. I think maybe he needed me to be out of there and found a way. But why I've forgotten? This is just... I've been spending the last days trying to cope with the memories of them just being back. First I thought it was just dreams, but after seeing the men with blue hands back, I realized it wasn't. It was all real. Can you imagine just realizing you had an entire year of your life removed?
Seems you've been through a lot.
Yeah, it seems like kind of a crappy year.
Although I do have more questions, if I may.
This is the time for it.
Do you have anything from these people, or know them, or knew them well enough to be able to scry on them, to see where other members of this hand organization might be?
I'm not sure if it works like that. I mean, I could always check on the last one. There were two in my memories. Siphon, one of them was the one with the mask. He survived. The other one I saw captured us, I didn't recognize.
Alright.
So I don't know if the other one is alive or dead.
Well, it may be worth trying to find out. I also have a favor to ask. With this new information that's come to light, I need to know if my family is okay. Because they knew who I am. And so they could very well try and go after them to use them against me.
What did I
Is that a
say to you
dragon?
after I teleported?
They didn't say much. They just started trying to drain the magic out of me and taunt me to use my spells so they could drain it all quicker.
Didn't they both die, though?
They're both dead. But there's more of them. It wasn't just them.
I wonder, I hope it's not many. That was never said to me. They never told me anything of who they were. They just
All I
did
heard was the
things.
same as you.
Yes, I'm talking about during the year they had me. They
Let me
had
see.
several ways of trying to make me cast magic, but they never succeeded. Well, in the end, I guess they did. But I was wearing the necklace at the time. I don't know why it didn't work then. Zephyr interfered somehow, but I don't know how. We would need to ask him, and I'd rather not.
That, I think, would be the same for all of us.
Tristan,
You?
I remember that the word Zephyrite was used.
Yup.
But I cannot remember if it was used with me in present or not.
Oh, yeah.
It was.
Well, yes. Because it was Siphon saying that they were going to drain the magic out of Cyrus, and they were going to hand you over to the Zephyrites.
Right, okay. I'm back in character. Speaking of Zephyr, Siphon mentioned something troubling.
Yeah, it seems you have a bit of a fan club of the worst variety.
So you heard it too. You mentioned something Zephyrite. Could it be he has more?
He certainly has other followers. Whether or not they're warlocks is up for, well, investigation, not really debate.
Zephyr's goal is to become a god. If he's gotten followers, he's closer to that goal.
Closer. Not necessarily close, but certainly closer.
I would say that remind you that you are all in the room. You can all weigh in on this. This does seem to be stuff that may affect all of you in the long term.
I would like to make a religion check.
Okay.
I'm trying to interpret the statement there of has followers closer to being a god. Do I think with whatever I roll here, do things partly work on gods need prayers badly? Or is it just that, do I think it more reasonable that if a demon amasses enough followers, and the demon's just going to be able to have more influence in the world and be able to finagle things such that they can become a god?
Okay, roll it.
So religions exist. There are indeed gods. Some of them were once demons. Most of them weren't. I got 11.
Okay, you're
which
not
is
sure
not the lowest I can roll.
This,
because I can get a 10.
You're not sure the mechanism of it, but you do know that there have been other demons who achieved a form of godhood or something close.
Yeah.
So it's not outside the realm of possibility.
Mm-hmm.
But
you can concept. Oh,
don't know exactly how it would be accomplished. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I say during this conversation, Yukikaze looks like he's thinking very hard. It's magic.
So he's engaged, but not talking.
He's not sure what to say, because this is freaking magic. It's a little bit out of my expertise.
So, it is possible for me to ward areas to prevent scrying. Which, if we are concerned about any of those followers doing, we can attempt to do when we go to sleep. The spell lasts for a while. It is a 5th level spell, though.
Will it also prevent dream?
Give me a moment to look at spell sheets.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have this one prepared. Oh, it's a 4th level spell. It's not a 5th level spell. Why the fuck do I have it prepared? I think I had prepared it because I wanted to cast it once, and then never unprepared it. The spell is Mordenkainen's Private Sanctum, for the voice in the sky.
Right.
When you cast the spell, you decide what sort of security the spell provides, choosing any or all of the following properties. Sound can't pass through the barrier at the edge of the warded area. The barrier of the warded area appears dark and foggy, preventing vision, including dark vision, through it. Sensors created by divination spells can't appear inside the protected area or pass through the barrier at its perimeter. Creatures in the area can't be targeted by divination spells. Nothing can teleport into or out of the warded area, and planar travel is blocked within the warded area.
Okay.
So I think Dream is a divination spell.
No, it's a...
No, it's illusion.
Illusion? I thought it was,
Yeah,
what
it is.
I think. The other one, mind trickery.
Enchantment?
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought it was an
I think it's illusion because you create the dream within their mind.
Still seems like an enchantment thing, but okay.
Yeah. It would not prevent someone, or I guess I can roll Arcana if you want me to, because I don't have Dream, so I can roll Arcana if you want me to know that it's an illusion spell.
I mean, you should roll it, but it's not it's not something that you wouldn't necessarily know.
I mean, Leah has it.
It's a what?
It's a 19.
Yeah, you know it.
So it would not prevent someone from casting the dream spell.
Okay.
It would prevent someone from scrying, clairaudience, clairvoyance, if they were close enough to be able to cast those spells. Gods forbid.
See, I recently learned how to cast Dream, and it made me wonder if maybe that's how we all got the dreams of the necromancer.
The what now?
Oh, right, this was before you.
Voice in the Sky with my 19 on Arcana for Dream. Do I know that Dream can't affect elves?
Since it requires the person to be asleep, you know that it wouldn't affect.
Yeah, no.
them.
So I know, like, per the, like, Sam knows per the thing.
With
that
the
it cannot
19,
affect
yes,
elves.
yes.
Okay. That is possible. There were some dreams that people had that were very closely connected to the necromancer. I suppose it could have been a coincidence that I had a dream in a similar vein at the same time that was different. As any reasonable modification on the dream spell by a mortal caster, I don't believe would work on me.
Well, I just hope he won't try to use it again.
Isn't he dead, or are you talking about someone else?
Steffer.
Oh.
No, Siphon is dead. You witnessed that.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the necromancer with Dragon.
Oh, no, he's dead. He's very dead.
Probably.
He have a bit of
The
a
necromancer.
The dragon ate him.
Wasn't he already dead at the time?
We hope so.
Well, I think that's what you get for pissing off a dragon.
Indeed.
You only make that mistake once.
If he was still living, he deserved it. I don't think he had gotten to the point where he was a lich. Although there are probably other methods that he could have prepared for if he thought it likely and was powerful enough. But that magic is beyond me and outside of my normal purview.
Yeah, didn't you sleep through necromancy classes?
Yes. Thus outside of my purview.
For a person that never sleep in our presence, you sure have slept through a lot of lessons.
Yeah.
The necromancy classes were exceedingly dull. I'm still not sure that the professor was not already dead and teaching us from beyond the grave.
Well, anyway, Cyrus, I am very sorry I left you there with them. I thought I had more time to get help. He wanted me to fight them.
In more than one way.
See, he wanted me to fight him. If I did that, we both would have ended up there.
It's possible. I didn't want you to fight them. I was hoping you'd give me a chance with trying to free me, since I was not capable of escaping my bonds. But you did what you thought was best. And that's all we can try to do.
I'm glad you're still with us.
Well, not for lack of trying.
And hopefully Raiken didn't piss off the Raven Queen too much.
Oh, she'll get over it. There's plenty of other people that she could have.
All of them, eventually.
Yes.
So now
However,
I was going to say something, I can't remember what.
I'm more
this-
caught up on my past, at least. I'd like not to go into detail of what I did. If that's okay.
I might have to ask at a future point, but you've done enough for tonight. Then I'll leave it be.
Thank you.
Even though that's completely against my character flaw. But I do have one other question to ask. Not related to them. When we went to fight the dragon, you stayed behind the barrier when the plan was to run out in front so that they could close it. May I ask why?
Well,
And this goes for all of you that did the same, which I believe also includes Laramindus and one other.
yes, I teleported back there to shield myself after I figured out he could see me. Or she.
She.
And then I saw Laramindus was staying there, so I thought the plan has changed.
See.
I found it beyond my powers to move in the face of such a creature. But if the barrier had gone down, I am able to move through it via magic.
Yes, I was curious if there was a different way that things could have played out. Due to the casualties that were sustained. Evidently by something we could not change, but still, something I would have wished to avoid.
I wish I did it differently, but in the heat of the battle, I didn't think clearly.
Well, then try to remember this in the future. Just, we can protect ourselves. They can't. If it comes down to trying to get them to get whatever creature we're fighting to attack us or just someone who's nearby, we should strive to have it be us every time. Whether you agree with that or not is your decision, but that is my belief.
Yeah.
I would make the case that there are extenuating circumstances that should all of us fall, including all of the knowledge that we have, it will be much worse for many more people.
Indeed, there are times to run, but when innocent lives are on the line, especially large numbers, I feel it's our duty as those with the ability to fight back and defend ourselves that we need to protect them.
Well,
If there's a grave threat and no one's around, absolutely run for your lives. It's not worth fighting at that point. It's something that's always been a bit of a conflict for myself. I always feel that those with power should protect, but I've always been taught also to run and to save myself. It's confusing at best.
well, I will always stand and fight if those people are intent to go cause harm to others. Bahamut would want me to stick out for, well, you know Bahamut's
Indeed, I do.
tenants.
You have that personal relationship with Bahamut.
Are you talking to me or
I was
you
just
cousin?
joking. I was just joking.
Well, so
But
was
I was
it not?
talking to you. I was talking to you. Yes.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say personal, a familial relationship, yes, but not personal. He is technically like possibly a great grandfather, possibly closer, possibly further. But he is somewhere in that family line. I am rather proud of that.
Well, luckily we avoided a tragedy to some extent with a good amount of luck. But I do hope that we will have the ability to actually slay Shisharan the next time we see her.
That will depend on whether or not we can get back the other pieces of the armor.
And when the
That's-
next time we
and
see her is.
Also,
We see her again tomorrow, or put that it.
I doubt she would be back tomorrow.
No, it seems Big Brother has...
Bigger plans.
Well, somebody had to start this revival process of all of them. So, either he's somehow behind it, or they're meeting with whoever has this plan that has started this resurrection.
We would also require the scale that Dusty and his people are looking for. So hopefully they find it.
Before we leave? Are we going to leave before we retrieve that from them or request it from them?
I had thought that we would be at least a fair amount gone by the time they can make it to the site, search the site, and return.
Okay, so we...
The scale won't be much use to us without the other pieces of the armor as well.
Okay.
Speaking of the scales, Lara Mendes,
Yes?
would you mind accompanying me in one of the temple libraries, either here or in Bromdor, to search for books regarding those scales? I would like to figure out more of how the stories tell they were used.
I believe that we will probably have more leeway to search here instead of in Bromdor, given the state of things.
Wow.
The ambulance agrees with me. Fire truck, whatever it was. Siren making thing.
Obnoxious contraption.
Yeah, I think we could need the knowledge, don't you agree?
Yes. I also had not finished my stories about the Vault of Garland to the temple and owe it to them, as well as needing to verify what the council told us about a supposed agreement around the statements of Shisharan.
On the note of knowledge here, is there a chance you could use your sway as Ion's champion to see if you could get one of the clerics to commune some information for us?
I can certainly speak with them. Would that be a religion check or an arcana check still for knowing the spell that he's referring? Or do I know that you're referring to a spell, or do I just think that you're basically imagining a cleric going up and just being like, "Hey, so got a question? You there, buddy, pal, amigo?" I don't know. Does 17 on whatever it is mean that I am aware that he's referring to a spell?
Yeah.
Okay. I would imagine that most of the clerics, for at least the short-term future, are going to be spending most of their spell slots on healing people.
Indeed, but
But I can ask.
If my knowledge serves me, it is a ritual, so they wouldn't necessarily need to spend a slot if they can find the time.
Is it a ritual?
Out of character, absolutely. It's my favorite spell of like the entire game.
Cool. I hadn't done that. I know very little about divine magic. But same with Laramendos, so...
You're gonna commune yourself a god?
Is there... sorry, did you... I already asked this, and I'm blanking on it. Was the particular bit of information that you wanted? I don't remember if I asked this. I had intended to ask it, but I might have stopped myself to ask about, do I actually know that you're thinking about the spell? Okay, cool. So then, yes, I will ask, is there some particular information that you're wishing them to glean?
There are a couple things I'd like to be able to learn. One, if the other pieces of the Armor of Bahamut are in the Underdark, so that we know that we're in the at least right terrain. If we're going after it. Well, not if, when we go after it. On a more personal note, I'd like to know if my father's still alive. If one of the ancient gold dragons has already passed, or more aptly been defeated. I no longer trust in his own safety. Especially since I don't know who he is.
If you are not sure of the identity of your father, how can we ask another party to...
Wait, how do you not know the identity of your father?
I don't know it because I don't want someone to be able to use his family against him as leverage. There are people who seek to go after the dragons, ones who are currently acting and causing this mess we're in now. So since I'm so close in lineage, he's kept his real name and form a secret to me.
Without an identity, I'm not sure if we can get one of the clerics to determine his health. So,
would you not be able to phrase the
point
question
against secrets? I don't know the mechanisms of the magic. I don't know if it's sufficient to say the father of what is your last name?
Cyrus Full Circle.
Okay. The father of Cyrus Full Circle. It might be. I can certainly ask one of the clerics.
It might be, but not. I would appreciate it if you try. I would try and just heavily ascribe, but being that he's a dragon, I expect that would be quite difficult. And there was one third thing that I cannot remember. One moment. Is I cannot get the word, the name to out of my mouth. Is the god of the drow, insert name there.
Lolf.
There we go. Yeah. Is dang it. You know what I'm trying to say. Are they working with are they actively working with Tiamat or her children? Because I would like to try and get that confirmed as well. Well, confirmed or unconfirmed, either way. I'd like to know with certainty.
We wish to know specifically if Loth herself is in cahoots with Tiamat herself or the children of Tiamat.
I'd
or
imagine
more broadly, if there is some large sect of drow that is pursuing those goals.
if you wish to expand the question, feel free. It's just I expect if they are working together that it is more directly. Since, as you've told me, Drider were dispatched. That's not quite as common as far as I'm aware.
Well, I thought they were evil. They take any advantage of a situation they can. But I don't.
Indeed. Drow will kill and take anything they can whenever there is an opportunity. However, to the best of my knowledge, Strider don't often come to the surface, unless it's very important. They are... I don't remember from what I've seen if it's more of a punishment or a reward, but either way, they're special to a certain degree.
First time I saw them was in Arcosia, so I know nothing about them. I just know that they're a drow and they're nasty.
I rolled above a 10. I rolled a 14 on die.
Kind of.
So 23 on history about Drider. It's a punishment for failing Lulth.
Yep.
Sam does not remember more than that. I don't know if Laramendus does.
Well, the 23 on history, I will remember.
I assume history is the right thing. If it's not, I can give you a different total number.
No, history is fine, since this would be things that you as an elf learn. Let me just see if I can pick up better information than that for you. But, I mean, that one's pretty straightforward. Let's see. Drow transformed into Driders. Return to the material plane as twisted into base creatures driven by madness. They disappear into the Underdark to become hermits and hunters, either wandering alone or leading packs of giant spiders. On rare occasion, Drider returns to the fringes of Drow society despite its curse, most often to fulfill some long-standing vow or vendetta in its former life. Drow fear and shun the Driders, holding them in lower esteem than slaves. However, they tolerate the presence of these creatures as living representatives of Wolf's will, and a reminder of the fate that awaits all who fail the Spider Queen. That's what it says.
Okay.
So you know that they are not part of Drow society proper anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It is the gravest of punishments for failing the Spider Queen, in which they still serve a purpose to her, but they are no longer part of her societies.
Mm-hmm.
So you know that the Driders won't generally be working with Drow. They might be working for Drow. They will be working toward the same goals because they all still serve Lolth. But they are being punished.
Seems a good enough reason to send them to the surface. Just burn, suffer. Mwah.
Fair enough. If there are questions that others think might be better to ask, I am certainly open to ideas, but I feel trying to gather some concrete information before we set off on this rather large task of searching the Underdark would be in our best interest.
I've already started gathering some information about the general knowledge, the common knowledge of the Underdark from the library already.
Good. One other thing, I suppose. If we could possibly pay for a divination to get a more broad question of where are the other pieces to the armor of Bahamut.
Divination. And that's like finding stuff. Since we have the main armor, can we is the magic similar? Can you guys I don't know, look at its magic similarities and kind of try to search for it with other magic?
I mean, can you scry an object?
I don't
Looking
know.
at Leah.
The what?
Can you scry on an object?
Oh, scry on no, I can scry on a location and a person.
Now, how does that work? Can you say I want to scry on the location of this object?
I have to
If you
imagine.
know where the object is, so
If I know
such
where
that
the-
you can scry on the location.
No,
Yeah,
you can't. Okay.
all I need to do is imagine how the location looked like, and so it has to be a location I've seen.
Oh, what if I all the knowledge I gathered about the Underdark and described it to you?
I'm not sure if that's enough.
Well, okay. So you possibly able to scry it once we get there?
Yeah,
Okay.
but why though?
If we have seen the area in which the other pieces are, then we can certainly scry that area. I will say if we have seen firsthand where they are, we probably don't need to scry them.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate if that's how
However,
that works.
If we do manage to get an idea of where they might be from the spells, we might be able to get the cleric of Ione to perform for us tomorrow. Then that could give us an idea of ways to cross off places that they may or may not be without having to get
I mean, isn't
uncomfortably
the
close.
Underdark really big?
Yes,
Doesn't it connect to all of the world?
but you know where it was taken from, so it gives you an area to search.
You get to go back to Arcosia.
But that's
Wait,
also-
I can see how the temple in Arcosia looks like with scrying. That's the furthest we get, unlike the tunnels in which we saw the mentor.
Yeah, you could scry on any location you've been within the Seat of Bahamut.
I guess you could look to see how the dragon infestation's going.
True.
But I need to note though, when I scry a person, I can follow them. But if I scry a location, the mirror stands still. So I cannot look around. I can just see the area. So I don't know how useful it will be.
If it's as bad as you all have said, it might be worth knowing how many of those eggs have hatched.
I mean, at least I can scry on where we end up through the portal and see if there's anything in ambush.
That could be good.
But it takes a long time to
Which-
set up, though.
That also wouldn't help us now until we are preparing to go to that location.
So, that is another good question. Is our next step the armor or trying to deal with Sivin? That is his name, right?
Yes.
The dickhead from Bromdor, yes.
Dickiest of heads.
Wait, if Nalia is making magic items, would it be possible to make like a compass that locks onto the same magic that the armor is?
You would have to ask her.
She had to actually be making magic items first.
And if
And
we
you have the
intend to
armor.
give her the most of her resources to muster in this manner, then we should most certainly deal with Sivin first.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Because we're also poking around. Seven, we know where he is. We know the current situation. Where poking around the Underdark is just us poking around in the Underdark.
Indeed.
And the longer we take down there, the longer the war goes on, the more people suffer, the less time there is to focus on magical items to help us against the dragons. And
the less
the
people
worse
there
things
are to help
get.
us.
So Sivin seems a very logical obstacle.
Get rid of that fucker
handle.
first.
Hmm.
Well, we don't just need to straight up kill people there, Vendar.
I mean, wasn't that the plan?
I don't believe so.
We just need to get him out of power. That's the main goal.
How are you gonna do that without killing him?
I don't know yet, but that is our main concern. We can worry about how we do that later.
You
But
just
I-
want to.
Well, you
Oh,
need someone to
yeah.
kill him. You know, I'm the guy for you.
You just want an excuse to melt someone again.
Hey, he deserves it.
Okay, well, do we want to put up a vote, or do we want to wait until we ask these other questions? Find out these other things.
Well, it's like as to what we should do about Lord Sivin.
Well, are we all in agreement that we are going to deal with Bromdor first?
I personally would say yes on my part.
I believe we must, for the sake of the lives currently being lost.
Yeah,
Yeah, it seems sensible.
seems the most urgent.
Agreed.
Excellent.
Very well. Then Bromdor it is. But that does not mean we can't go and figure out these things that you wanted to figure out first.
Now, this is certainly a good place to ask those questions of the clerics and gain what information we may.
On the divination question, should we ask where the armor is, or what the best path to it might be?
Given that I am unfamiliar with the mechanisms of the magic, I believe that would best be left up to the cleric who is helping us.
Fair enough.
Unless you're able to cast a spell that is doing this, or something similar.
I wish I could. My spells are not nearly so, delicate.
Yes, if we explain to the clerics the information that we are seeking, I'm sure that they will be able to help us formulate the questions that would give us the easiest responses to interpret.
Indeed. So with that, should we get some rest?
Yes, please.
I do, tomorrow I would like to allot some time to, go to a temple that does prayer for Bahamut also at some point.
There's a number of stops we should make. We should also see if the
my
mail
bag.
survived.
Mailroom.
Yes. Does anyone actually know where that is?
Didn't he say it was next to the Mages Guild?
Was it? Sam does not remember.
Nalia had indicated it was nearby.
Okay.
It was in the harbor district, which is nearby.
Oh, yeah, but the harbor district.
Didn't the harbor get fucked up?
A little bit.
The boats.
A little
Harbor
bit.
might not. It's probably fine.
I mean-
Gilligan cut to us standing over the rubble. It's not fun.
I guess we don't know what those letters mean.
Roll some dice on the over-under and it's still standing? I don't know.
So it sounds to me like our intended goals for tomorrow, once we have rested, check on the status of the mailroom and any mail that might be there for the post building, and any mail that might be there for any of us. Go to the Temple of Ione, where there will be much research and discussing with clerics. I will finish telling them everything from the Vault of Garland. We will ask them about these divination spells and the information that we seek. And we will research into the Underdark. And Leah's thing, was that researching the Underdark, or was there a different thing that she was researching?
I wanted to research the scales.
Oh, the scales, right. And research the scales to see if we can find anything more about them in any of those histories.
And get whatever items and equipment we need, if we can.
And stop by whatever... We have the recording. And stop by any marketplace that is still in existence. See, that's a better thing to say. Stop by a marketplace. There must be one that has sprung up in around the same place as it usually is, I would imagine, and see if there are any supplies that are needed. We will wait to hear back from Lynn about the whereabouts of the elf and the goods that he has removed from us. Cyrus sounded like he was going to say something.
Yeah. I, for one, need a new shirt, and Yukikaze is going to need some other armor if we intend to leave the chest plate with Nalia for her to study.
Yes. Is there anything else that we need from a marketplace?
Doesn't Yuki need a backpack?
Yeah, I would like to get a backpack, please.
Backpack, clothes, armor.
Any items we need for magic casting?
Well, I doubt we'll be able to find everything here with the state of things, but anything we can find that we need, we should buy here to help with their economy, since it will need the boost if it survives. We are in the private sanctum, right?
I hadn't cast it, no.
Alright, then I say that more quietly.
I thought you were gonna cast it.
I had mentioned it as a thing to cast, and nobody said anything.
Oh, okay.
And the conversation continued, and we didn't say, okay, let's pause for 10 minutes. So I have not cast it. I can make it real big if I use my 6th level spell slot.
I think at that point the people elsewhere in this building would notice it.
Because the area is a cube that can be as small as 5 feet to as large as 100 feet on each side. And for every spell level above 4th, you can increase the size of the cube by 100 feet.
Just this whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
I think that covers it.
Oh, if we want to come up with a solid plan, what to do, and consulting Nalia about maybe a political system or something like that, because I don't know anything about it.
You also do need.
If we have questions for her, then we should have asked them before.
Yeah.
No, I used Ash. Have asked them before.
She was very distressed after a dragon.
For good reason.
I don't think she was capable of answering much questions right then.
If it is merely understanding what the political system is like in Bromdor, I'm sure that's information we can find in the temple.
Well, how did other leaders stop being leaders?
They died.
Can I roll a history check? I think the last 3 that I outlived died. It's a 20 on history. So the ones that have been in charge while I've been here, did they just kick it?
Tell me.
Maybe it was 2. One of them lived a while. He was a decent one. So he would have died of old age.
As we had discussed, the one thing that you had stated to me in the party that was a trend was that there's usually a period after a ruler in Bromdor takes office that they go on an imperialistic tear, and then they chill out.
Yeah. And this one has just been lasting a bit longer than normal for his
from an elven perspective.
Yeah.
It's time to end the imperialism.
This one's been like 7 years instead of like 3 or something like that, as the like normal amount of time to go and be hot-headed.
Gotta make Bromdor great again.
Oh god.
I, Sam, don't remember enough about any discussions that we had about what the system was like for someone taking charge. If there was something in place for, like voting someone out, or like if there's appointed heirs or what have you. Because I know it's not necessarily a family thing. I don't think 7 was related to the previous one.
They did not tend to have lineage-based rule. It was usually a rule through right as taken by takeover.
Yeah.
Which is why the first few years were usually so imperialistic, because it was a continuation of that same energy that they used to take the throne.
Yeah. So,
and it also won them support.
Generally speaking, some noble or another will drum up support amongst enough people to oust the previous lord, which is usually violent. Although I do remember that there was one very beloved man who was kindly given the opportunity to step down. and he lived a supposedly very nice retirement, just a bit of the ways north, on the northern side of the country. Nice villa, by all accounts.
So we just need to find some other noble that isn't going to war immediately to take his place when we kill him.
Hopefully not war at all.
I think if we all just glossed over the fact that Vendar still.
I mean, he did kind of just yada yada murder.
It is the precedent. It's the easiest way to make sure that the previous lord does not drum up more support and come back and oust you. So
He's gotta
yes,
piss
if
someone
we could
off, right?
find
He's an
someone
asshole.
to take the position, I don't think Laramendus would be aware of any qualifications that are necessary in order to be a claimant to the throne. So that would be something that we would be able to look up. Yeah, I mean, like, more than that. Like, do you need a large enough area? Can some farmer, perhaps with the name John, be placed in the...
No. No Farmer Johns. Certainly no cleric Farmer Johns.
If we could find a leader in the military who is more interested in peace currently, given everything that they have seen, then they might be a reasonable person to stage this coup.
Does anyone know suggestion?
No.
He did.
I can spend some time thinking and we can see what we find, if there are any other trends that can more specifically be pointed to. I tended to keep myself away from the political situation. It was one of the nice things about that town. Politics didn't change there.
I had a nice fishing
The mayor had been mayor for about 400 years.
And ours was a test of contest, and we were always about survival in our tribes, so we really never warred. We had disagreements, but no war.
I mean, a war is mostly just a disagreement with an army.
Yeah. Never got to that point.
We have a disagreement with an army to back it up.
It's the difference between a language and a dialect.
Alright, so have you got enough ideas floating around that you can do your long rest, or do you want to keep discussing? Because I'll let you keep going.
I'm good on my part.
After you.
Malachi said he was good on his part.
I mean, I think we're good as far as the Civen discussion is concerned, but I have one more thing to say besides that, if we're done with that.
Does anyone have final thoughts to weigh in?
Nope. Is anyone extremely reticent to oust him via force? As his tradition?
I mean, I prefer him to, not die.
Why? He's an asshole.
I mean, they don't all die in the coups that happen.
I'll make sure he does.
Such progress since we first met him.
I'm very torn. On one hand, I don't really want, I don't wish death on anyone. On the other hand, he is a bit of an asshole. And he's causing more harm than good. There has to be a better way, though.
I
mean-
agree.
I don't think there is.
I think. Let me check one thing out of a character real quick. Source for get suggestion. Because I have a level coming up, and this might be the time to change a spell.
I bet they can get suggestion. It's a great spell.
It's second level, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I can get suggestion. So
I suggest you think about that.
I could try and subtly suggest a different course of action, perhaps with him not stepping down.
The people that he has placed in positions of power are going to most likely be of a similar mindset to him. And a noticeable change in his disposition, given how much he has been pushing for this war for as long as he has, longer than most of them tend to anyway. I'm not sure that we can guarantee that the order would be obeyed.
Let alone that one of them they think has becoming weak and take over for themselves.
Well, that's it. I'm out of ideas.
I thought that was a notification only channel, Tristan.
Oh, you're right, it is.
Yeah.
I'm in the wrong one.
I was wondering if you did it on the wrong channel or not.
I did. I was supposed to go to the Snark channel.
Maybe it's because the D&D channel was always at the bottom.
Yeah, my bad.
I mean, the number of times I've accidentally posted animals in the anime channel.
If you think that those are right next to each other for not that exact reason. Okay. So
on a non-Steven topic, about that favor I asked about, Leah,
Uh-oh.
do you think you could scry on my mother?
Depends. Do you have anything of hers?
There's me. I mean, you know. Kind of,
Did once reside inside of her.
I am her child.
Can I roll an Arcana check? I think at this point he counts as him.
It's kind
I
of
do have scrying, so if that's going to help my Arcana check, that's an 18, because I have rolled above a 10 once today. But I do have the spell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you know exactly how it works.
I don't think that would work.
Doesn't it help if you have something that used to belong to the person?
Saying you
I don't-
used to belong to them.
Slave? Are you a former slave?
I don't think another human being or like another being counts as that.
So the things that the foci that can help a scrying spell would be an actual piece of their body, usually hair, fingernail, something of the like.
Blood.
Something that blood, yes. Just an item that they had possessed, perhaps an article of clothing, perhaps a locket that was meaningful to them, something along those lines, or a likeness will also do. But those are all in descending areas of use.
Have you got a picture of your mum?
What?
Have you got a picture of your mum?
I don't see why I wouldn't.
Could use the picture of your mum.
If you have a picture, that can certainly help. Not by much, but it helps.
Oh, here, let me find it. I'll start digging through my bag.
Like, the more connected to her the belonging were, the better it works.
Well, she gave it to me, so... I mean, I don't know if that helps. But...
Was it hers that she gave to you, or was it something that she gave to you to remember her with? Or was it a possession of hers that is now in your possession, or was it meant for you?
She narcissistic.
Her tie to this matters.
I'm gonna just go with high or low on that. It was hers.
She was a
You
narcissist.
have a very interesting other.
Well,
Is it autographed?
alright, that's fair. It was intended for me.
I mean, this could be an interesting twist.
No. The more I think about it, the less sense it makes. It was just intended for me.
Okay, that's fine.
Do you perhaps have a likeness of your father that was your mother's that she gave to you?
Don't think so.
It was worth a shot.
You don't know your mother that well, do you?
I know my mother. It's just... Anyways, it's a whole thing.
The party will notice that Laramendus was doing a lot of talking about the minutia of scrying, which was not a spell he's ever cast before, and has seen Leah cast like once. But
You didn't sleep through that, class.
Well, if you have a picture, it certainly helps.
I hand you a picture.
Yeah. That's all you have. It's worth a shot, I guess.
Would you like to describe what your mother looks like in this image?
I don't have anything offhand. I could come up with something later and describe it at the start of the next game,
Okay.
but I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
It's a picture of a halfling female.
How old is he on the picture?
I guess I'd say fairly young, like 30s. that's
What
not-
medium is the image done in?
No, 40. 40s would make more sense. 40s.
Okay.
5
What medium
millimeter
would make the
film.
most sense?
What are you at?
What medium would make the most sense?
Charcoal, perhaps?
Alright, then charcoal it is.
It's a common one for sketching such things.
It's very pretty.
Thank you.
I'll take the magic mirror and start counting. It takes 10 minutes. And Tristan, she has a wisdom save. She gets modifier of +3.
Okay.
+3.
Yeah, it's +5 from me never met her, and then negative for having the picture. You see, it doesn't help much, but it helps
Okay.
a little.
She got a 12.
That fails.
Okay. Let's see.
It's a grave.
I think it would automatically, like, I think the spell would automatically fail if the target is dead.
Yeah, but it's funnier.
Sam,
It's just a grave.
Sam, so
It's
rude.
an unmarked grave.
Sam. Rude.
Come on, man. If I already lost like one aunt or uncle, don't
I mean-
kill off my family.
I don't actually think it says what happens if the target is dead. I think it just assumes.
Okay.
But yeah.
You're going to see in your mirror the image resolves as though you are looking at them from a few feet away. You find that you're in the mirror. The image you see is of a candle-lit room, modestly decorated. Like it looks like it might be a small building, and the furniture and items you see around evoke an area where you cook and eat. And you see this woman, a bit older than she appears in the charcoal drawing that you were handed, but still retaining her beauty as this halfling female, sits at this table and is eating slowly this meal that looks like it was home cooked. She's got like broccoli and carrots and some kind of a roast bird, perhaps a duck or a pheasant that she is eating. She does appear to be alone here, and for at least these first few seconds, and if you want to continue watching, she just seems to be eating this meal. It is clearly evening, at least outside, as the room is lit by candles.
She seems safe. She's eating. Well, I assume it's a kind of bird. In a very snug home.
Alright. Well, I'll set my mind at ease to know she's at least safe for now, but
She seems to be alone, though.
doesn't surprise me. Me and my father are the only family she has, at least, the only direct family. We've both had to leave for one reason or another.
What is that scratching noise?
Sorry, didn't know you could hear that.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to see in here before I close the gate? I can move it around. As long as it's yeah. As long as it's stay within 10 feet, yeah. So I can rotate around her pretty much.
I think I've seen enough just to know she's safe.
Okay. I'll stop concentrating and just let it fade.
Okay, the image fades away, and you are once again looking at yourself in the silver mirror.
I twist the black hair on my forehead a little, and then I put the mirror away. Well, I'm glad to see she's alive and well. Is he a sorceress too?
No. As far as I'm aware, it can only get passed down, not across. for lack of a better term.
Then at least it shouldn't be of much interest to them, to the cults, unless it is to get to you. So it is troubling to know of you, though.
I mean, Crunch knew about us. People are now telling stories.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It seems reasonable that such a group would pay attention to stories of adventurers, as that's a likely place to find reasonably powerful sorcerers.
Or sorcerers, period. Given that we have to cast magic. It's the most common place to find them.
At least they won't be able to surprise us again. Now we know they're there.
Well, I wouldn't say that they won't be able to surprise again, but it should be harder. Well, we have a long road ahead of us. That's for
I hope that isn't what's happening right now, Tristan. Because I think we're fucked enough already.
The ground shakes. Everyone make a dex saving throw, and we'll see you next week.
Shut up, Sam.
Alright. Last call for input on the scene, or we'll hold it till next time. And if there's no further input, we'll just start next time with the end of a long rest, I think.
Yes.
I've said my piece.
Alex?
I'm good.
Okay.
Okay. Thomas?
Yeah, seems okay.
Okay. Malachi?
We're all fucked.
I can't wait for that long rest.
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Okay. Alright then. You have your discussion, you have many things to think about, and then you all go to sleep where they dance around your minds as you try to sleep. Dreams are great.
They're weird.
Dreams about
Stop
Shut
that.
up, non-sleeper!
dreams about Cord.
For
Hey,
somebody who can't sleep, sure to sleep through a lot of classes.
Yeah, right?
Only the necromancy ones. And maybe if that professor was more interesting.
I learned what sleep was that day. It was awful. Alright.
Yeah.
Well, then everybody please take 700 experience for roleplays.
Oh, I completely missed that number. What did I say?
700.
700.
700.
Not like 700.
1195.
Two more.
Take 1100, please.
I think I'm about
1100.
Okay, let's see now then.
107.
unless I start doing journals, I'm about a month away from my next level.
So you should start doing journals.
I leveled last time, so...
You're quarantined.
Look,
Me too.
I have
I
a couple
got
journals
back.
from some people to go through, so...
1200 XP towards level 13.
Also, your characters will be going to bed at the end of this scene, so you can write journals, since that is when most adventurers tend to do it, as they go to sleep.
Yes.
So anybody who wants to write a journal now, is you can finally, the 16th will finally be ending, and we can finally pick up on the 17th.
Yeah.
I have a lot of letters to write, because that's how I do my journal entries.
Ha 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 ha.
It's a good thing you're going to the post office tomorrow.
Wait,
You have enough postage.
do you say you do your journal entries in form of letters?
Yup.
I knew another character who did that.
Funny. Last time, like, I remember we talked about your hatred for the Frankenstein book.
Mm-hmm.